Previously, the formidable Ah Go spearheaded the Dark One's invasion of the foreign realm, but his path to conquest was unexpectedly halted by a singular, powerful obstacle, the legendary Ziyu. The air crackles as Ziyu, gripping his colossal sword, prepares for a brutal confrontation. Ah Go, engulfed in a searing aura, challenges him to a fight worthy of true men, his intent clear, total victory. Ah Go lunges, a whirlwind of power, his golden gauntlet gleaming. He taunts Ziyu, dismissing him as a cripple and feigning reluctance to fight, claiming it's only to save Ziyu the humiliation of a public defeat and preserve his title as the greatest swordsman. His eyes burning with unbridled ambition, Ah Go roars, proclaiming that once Ziyu is vanquished, the entire world will fall under his dominion. Ziyu remains silent, his gaze lowered, a moment of profound calm before the impending storm, his thoughts unreadable amidst the rising tension. The battle's terrifying kin power erupts from the mountaintop, manifesting as a colossal vortex of ice and energy, dwarfing the lone figure of Ziyu below. The true fight has undeniably begun. Elsewhere, a concerned woman watches the unfolding chaos, her resolve firm as she states her unwavering support for Ziyu. She explains that Ziyu would never intentionally harm another, believing something must have befallen him. She is confident that Uncle Ziyu surely knows a way to help him. However, the headband woman counters, questioning if this dire situation can be easily settled, with countless pointy-eared ones waiting to make them a sacrifice. Despite the grim outlook, the woman insists the situation is not yet hopeless, recalling how both Ah Go and Uncle Ziyu have overcome countless difficulties before, firmly believing today will be no different. The headband woman, overcome with emotion, confesses her deep affection for Ziyu, wondering if he would ever propose. She laments her age, 22, and the impending obligation to marry a blood tribe chief, dissolving into tears. Back on the battlefield, Ah Go lets out a triumphant laugh, his voice echoing with disdain as he demands Ziyu admit his inevitable defeat, certain he stands no chance against his power. Clash intensifies as Ziyu parries a forceful strike. Ah Go, shrouded in a vibrant golden energy shield, is momentarily surprised by Ziyu's resilience, realizing he had been too hasty in his judgment. Ah Go unleashes his full might, activating his divine power, which he claims robs the light of living. He declares that Ziyu's ego will now sleep in it as swirling energy envelopes him. Suddenly, Ah Go finds himself ensnared within a complex web of radiant golden energy. Ziyu observes, musing on the incredible level of smelting aura displayed by Ah Go. He wonders how he could have overlooked such a potent ability despite his own years of training in Phantom Sword. Ziyu stands unperturbed amidst the swirling energies, his composure unwavering. He calmly reiterates his warning, asserting that Ah Go still has much to learn, implying his mastery far surpasses his opponent's. Ziyu conjures a deadly array of ethereal swords surrounding Ah Go. He states that if he were to unleash this merciless move, Ah Go would be unable to block them and would surely perish. He offers a single path to survival: abandon the Dark Ones, give up his conquest, and train with Ziyu on Phantom Island for 10 years, acknowledging his parents' wishes to spare him. Ah Go, unyielding, scoffs at the proposition. His golden gauntlet glows with defiance as he retorts that his fist possesses the power to crush all of Ziyu's swords just the same. His face contorted in fury, Ah Go rejects Ziyu's offer outright. He demands Ziyu stop joking around, declaring emphatically that he will not be threatened or concede to such terms. As Ah Go's defiance echoes, Bai Kai watches, her expression a mix of concern and understanding, contemplating the volatile situation. Yet, Ziyu extends a hand, a silent offer of aid, urging Ah Go to rise from his stubborn rejection. After a moment of intense internal struggle, Ah Go clasps Ziyu's hand, a silent acknowledgement of the unexpected support. Ziyu reveals the true intent behind their earlier clash, a calculated plunge into a dream state designed to purge the dark essence from Ah Go's heart and allow his real self to be reborn. Understanding dawns on Ah Go, quickly replaced by boisterous laughter. He praises Ziyu's extraordinary method, acknowledging his indispensable role. Ziyu, a hint of a smile on his lips, reminds Ah Go that Bai Kai also understands him. He then cautions against premature celebration, revealing the ongoing stalemate with the Dark Ones and foreigners below the mountain. Ah Go connects the dots, realizing the inexplicable voices and agitation he felt since returning from the god's domain were due to the dark essence. He playfully boasts about Ziyu knowing him best. Ziyu listens, a pensive expression settling on his face as he processes Ah Go's realization and the implications. Bin Chan confirms his involvement, revealing he was the one who trapped Wu Geng in the illusory world. He explains his motivation: a continued affection for Ziyu, a desire to prevent regression, and a profound curiosity about the Dark One's ambition to found a nation without divine guidance. Ziyu considers Jin Chan's complex words, the weight of their combined efforts and the future of their world heavy on his mind. Gazing out at the vast, stardusted expanse, Ziyu muses on the unknown path ahead, acknowledging the long journey still awaiting them down the mountain. Ah Go, now composed and strategic, presents a compelling counteroffer: if their presence brought only benefit and no trouble, would resistance still be necessary? He then declares his revolutionary vision: the formation of a republic governed by a participatory council, electing a chief with limited power, overseen by an assembly ruled by the majority. Addressing a diverse gathering, Go passionately outlines the specifics of this new world, a revolutionized system of force with elected chiefs serving limited terms, constantly overseen by a new assembly. Kai watches Go's powerful declaration, a silent witness to his ambitious new path and the potential future it holds. A playful smile graces Kai's lips as she teases Go, questioning if he truly holds no regrets about relinquishing his own claim to power for this grand new vision. Far from the nascent republic, Jin Chan initiates a profound ritual, channeling the power of holy ancient spirits who have slumbered for over 100,000 years, his form encased in shimmering ice. The ancient power surges, encasing Jin Chan in a crystalline cocoon as the ritual of the holy ancient spirits reaches its peak. Meanwhile, Go, having resolved his affairs, enters a deep, restorative slumber, his form still. Kai remains steadfast by his side, a silent guardian. To prevent his burgeoning soul power from spiraling out of control, Go sought a secluded sanctuary far from any potential harm to master his formidable abilities. Kai diligently watches over him, ensuring his undisturbed recovery and training. In a realm of ethereal glow and strange flora, a mysterious, hooded master imparts a final blessing. He declares that Jiang Zia is now free to return to his home world, destined for a greater purpose. Jiang Zia, one of the 4 former slaves from the northern mountain mine alongside Go, Bai Kai, and Shi, reflects on his journey. Despite his profound training, he still perceives himself as an insignificant mortal, yet grateful for his master's guidance. Standing amidst the mystical roots, Jiang Zia expresses his gratitude, acknowledging that without his master's intervention, his path would have been lost. He muses on his former companions, concluding that their naivety remains their greatest weakness. He believes that with the right motivation, they would fight relentlessly, even against each other, unable to cease. A faint smile touches Jiang Zia's lips as he anticipates his return to the Central Plain, eager to reunite with the friends he grew up with. Introducing Bai Kai, Go's fiancée. Known for her kindness and expertise in dark and culinary arts, she is deeply revered by the Dark Ones. Under the glow of a full moon, Bai Kai stands solemnly among stone figures, a sense of quiet contemplation surrounding her. Siwang Yenshen, one of the Dark One's great generals, returns after 3 years of isolation. He is now the law-keeper of Dark One City, enforcing the sacred laws inscribed on the stony steels. Siwang Yenshen observes the kneeling stone figures, reflecting on the Dark One's thriving city and its glorious present, a stark contrast to the fate of his old comrades who never lived to see this era. Siwang Yenshen asks Bai Kai if she finds the situation a shame, to which she agrees. He confesses his admiration for her, stating she is the only human he doesn't despise due to their shared affection for Sui Feng Qiwu. With a piercing gaze, Siwang Yenshen urges Bai Kai to return and prepare, reminding her that she is still slated to host the upcoming quinquennial election ceremony. Bai Kai directly asks Siwang Yenshen if he intends to announce his candidacy for the election. He responds with a cryptic, drawn-out maybe, leaving his intentions ambiguous. Siwang Yenshen departs, leaving Bai Kai alone with her thoughts amidst the silent stone figures, a subtle ripple of energy marking his exit. Bai Kai reflects that if Sui Feng Qiwu were still alive, she would surely disapprove of the internal strife among the Dark Ones, hinting at the divisive nature of the upcoming election. Siwang Yenshen sits among the petrified figures, noting that most were turned to stone in pairs, but specifically identifying Sui Feng Qiwu among them. His gaze sharpens as he points to a lone, kneeling stone figure, remarking on its solitary fate among the pairs. The annual assembly is set to begin, drawing all citizens and foreigners to the city square. Han Feng Lin, one of the great generals and the intelligence officer, observes, noting that while Count Ming Biaoqing easily secured the governorship last time, this year's election promises to be far more challenging. A challenger, Zongheng Tianxia, with an intense expression, questions if another has truly given up their claim. Zongheng Tianxia, whose strength rivals that of a grand marshal after achieving limit break 3 years prior, seeks support. Ming Biaoqing, the current governor, states he acts in the people's best interest and informs Zongheng Tianxia that his true rival for the governorship lies elsewhere. Ming Biaoqing reveals the true obstacle, the Iron Mask, who, like Zongheng Tianxia, has undergone significant changes and garnered widespread support over the past 2 years. The Dark One city thrives, with trade with the Central Plain flourishing and merchant parties frequently traversing between the nations, signifying prosperity and expanding influence. The regal envoy expresses hopes for continued friendly exchanges between the nations. Meanwhile, Bai Kai reviews a scroll confirming that the quinquennial election, a pivotal event, is the final and most important item on the assembly's agenda. The king of Shio's envoy formally pays respects to the Dark One city, acknowledging Lady Bai Kai's presence and significance at the assembly. Ming Biaoqing, the reigning governor for the past 5 years, announces his decision not to seek re-election, declaring his term concluded and the seat open for a more capable successor. Zongheng Tianxia, with a fierce grin, expresses a newfound respect for Ming Biaoqing's decision, clearly pleased by the turn of events. Ming Biaoqing sternly warns Zongheng Tianxia against threatening council members, a charge Zongheng Tianxia vehemently denies with an exaggerated display of innocence. A powerful, winged figure, Siwang Yenshen, steps forward, asserting that the very essence of Dark One's city lies in choosing the strongest leader. He boldly challenges, asking who else but him holds the right to lead. Siwang Yenshen's bold challenge hangs in the air, but the scene abruptly shifts. We find a seasoned mentor figure, an eye-patch-wearing man, sharing a meal while imparting crucial advice. He warns his companions, Bai Kai and Ah Shi, of the inherent dangers lurking within the Dark One's city, urging them to remain vigilant in his absence. His companions listen intently as he elaborates, explaining that their esteemed position is largely due to the influence of Naitian Ershing and his own past achievements. He cautions that not everyone within the city views them with the same respect, highlighting their precarious standing as non-native Dark Ones. The eye-patch man then speaks of trusted allies, citing Suifeng Chiwu as highly dependable and Dali Huiquan as both honest and reliable. His words underscore the vital importance of strong, trustworthy connections in navigating the treacherous political landscape of the Dark One city. Back in the assembly, the crowd roars with fervent support, fists raised high. They hail Siwang Yenshen as a true Dark One, chanting praises and declaring him their rightful leader, fully swept up in his revolutionary fervor. Siwang Yenshen's cold, masked gaze sweeps over the assembly. He declares that the time has come for a stronger leader to purge the parasites and usher in a brighter future for the Dark Ones, his voice resonating with chilling conviction. Another masked figure, Zongheng Tianxia, stands under the ominous glow of the moon. He criticizes the previous ruler's lax governance, asserting that such leniency came at a severe cost to their people and fueled years of mounting complaints. A pointed-ear official, his face etched with fury, confronts Siwang Yenshen directly. He accuses him of inciting riots and turning the Dark Ones against foreigners, declaring that such actions violate the sacred laws of the stone steel and render him unfit for any office, let alone governor. The official presses on, questioning Siwang Yenshen's delusion, asking if he truly believes he can be elected governor by merely appeasing a discontented populace. Zongheng Tianxia, the masked figure, adds his voice, warning Siwang Yenshen about the consequences of ignoring the laws and the growing resentment towards foreigners. Zongheng Tianxia dismisses the council as trash, vehemently challenging their right to choose a leader for the Dark Ones. His masked eyes burn with defiance as he denounces their authority as utterly ridiculous. He further questions the fairness of the entire process, his masked face tilted in challenge, demanding to know how such an unjust system could possibly be deemed equitable for the Dark Ones. A new masked figure, distinct with a glowing green visor, steps forward. He directly challenges the instigator, questioning his motives and demanding to know the true aim behind purposely stirring up such profound conflict within the city. Chilling reality of the conflict is laid bare. A lifeless body hangs upside down, a brutal display of power. A voice declares it a justified death, a grim warning to any who would oppose the new order. Siwang Yenshen, with his powerful wings spread, raises his arms in a triumphant gesture under the moon. He incites the Dark Ones, demanding to know how they should deal with these parasites, vowing that his message will be heard loud and clear. Suddenly, two enraged figures launch a direct assault on Siwang Yenshen, their faces contorted with fury. They condemn his actions, shouting that he has pushed them too far, as the conflict erupts into open combat. Amidst the chaos, a woman with long dark hair covers her mouth with a cloth, her eyes wide with shock and horror as she witnesses the escalating violence and brutality unfold before her. Ali, the dreadlocked warrior, stands protectively over fallen figures, his muscular frame radiating fierce anger. He condemns the disrespect shown to his companion, recalling their past sacrifices in the ghost domain when they were mere children, and questioning how anyone dares to challenge them now. The woman in green, his companion, looks up at Ali with profound gratitude. Her expression conveys silent thanks for his unwavering protection and fierce loyalty in the face of such overwhelming aggression. In a separate moment, we meet Yun Zhongzi, a god separatist, teacher, and friend of Ah Go, whose wisdom shaped the early days of Dark One City. He sternly scolds a young boy for sneaking into the assembly, warning him of Kong K's inevitable punishment. The young boy, looking up with wide, slightly fearful eyes, respectfully addresses Yun Zhongzi as uncle, acknowledging his presence and the gravity of his transgression. With a worried expression, the boy desperately pleads with Yun Zhongzi not to inform his mother. He fears her wrath, exclaiming that she would surely kill him if she discovered his unauthorized presence at the assembly. While the young boy trembled with fear over his mother's potential wrath for being at the forbidden assembly, a far more cataclysmic confrontation was already erupting at its core. Siwang Yenshen fiercely challenges Zongheng Tianxia, condemning his defiance of established laws and warning against the destruction of their decade-long efforts. Siwang Yenshen's gaze hardens, his voice resonating with authority as he declares Zongheng Tianxia's challenge to the ancient laws of the stone steel a foolish and reckless act. Zongheng Tianxia, shrouded in his masked defiance, finally acknowledges his opponent, a glint of anticipation in his eyes as he expresses relief at finding a worthy challenger. With a sharp, commanding gesture, Zongheng Tianxia extends a glowing, segmented whip-like appendage, issuing a direct challenge for his opponent to engage. Siwan Yenshin observes the menacing, coiling whip, a flicker of recognition in his eyes as he identifies the potent weapon. Green energy surges around Siwan Yenshin as he launches himself into the air, preparing to meet Zongheng Tianxia's challenge head-on. Descending with explosive force, Siwan Yenshin slams his foot down, shattering the ground and sending a shockwave directly at Zongheng Tianxia. Siwan Yenshin continues his relentless assault, driving Zongheng Tianxia into the earth, declaring his intent to forcefully correct his disruptive actions against the Dark One's assembly. His fist crackles with raw, green energy as Siwan Yenshin ignites his very soul, channeling immense power for a devastating blow. Blinding surge of spiky, emerald energy erupts from Siwan Yenshin's back, tearing through the air and amplifying his offensive power. Despite being engulfed by the overwhelming attack, Zongheng Tianxia defiantly asserts the supremacy of power, vowing to make Siwan Yenshin remember the million-year-old traditions of the Dark Ones. A colossal wave of concentrated green energy blasts forth from Siwan Yenshin, impacting Zongheng Tianxia with crushing force. Zongheng Tianxia stands, bloodied but unbowed, reflecting on their history of battles that, even before Nitian's demise, consistently concluded in a stalemate. A new, imposing figure, Hanfeng Linlin, descends from the heavens, his presence immediately halting the conflict as he declares that no further bloodshed will occur under his watch. Siwan Yenshin is confronted by Hanfeng Linlin, who respectfully apologizes but firmly states his opposition to Siwan Yenshin's intentions to revert the Dark Ones to their former state. Hanfeng Linlin clarifies his independent stance, asserting his duty as a Dark One city officer to intervene against any perceived injustices, regardless of personal ties. Siwan Yenshin, bewildered, directly questions Hanfeng Linlin's motives, demanding to know the reason behind his unexpected intervention. Hanfeng Linlin stands resolute, his gaze distant as he condemns the corruption within their council, attributing it to Go's decision to integrate outsiders and demanding immediate reform. A wide shot reveals the vast assembly, where voices of dissent and frustration erupt, condemning those who have lost their fighting spirit and blindly follow Go's directives. Go, observing the unfolding chaos, responds with a cryptic, perhaps to an unseen question, his expression unreadable as the veiled woman beside him remains silent. An elder figure sighs gravely, lamenting the imminent collapse of Go's established laws, while a worried woman beside him foresees an uncontrollable spiral of events should Hanfeng Linlin fully commit to the conflict. Grim prophecy unfolds as a powerful warrior, Go, finds himself cornered, his surprise evident as imposing figures close in around him, signifying the direct challenge to his authority. Elsewhere, Hanfeng Linlin's frustration boils over. He unleashes a furious cry, demanding to know why his allies are absent, why no one stands by his side in this crucial moment. The narrative then sweeps across a vast gathering, a multitude of Dark Ones assemble. A voice echoes, reminding them of their arduous journey, the hardships endured, and the peace they once found upon establishing their city, a peace now threatened. Masked figure, his face partially obscured, recounts the past, acknowledging a leader's prodigious talent from a young age, recalling his command over thousands of slaves and the profound impact he wielded. He continues, praising this leader as the true hero, the visionary who single-handedly brought the Dark Ones back into the world, thus earning their unwavering reverence and establishing Dark One City. Hanfeng Linlin, his gaze sharp and accusatory, points a finger, demanding confirmation from the masked figure. Were you the one? He challenges, pressing for an answer to his underlying questions. The masked figure, now revealed as Go, stands tall, acknowledging Hanfeng Linlin's past as their leader. He then reveals that 5 years prior, Hanfeng Linlin willingly relinquished his power to build their ideal city. Go, emanating power, reflects on the 5 years since Yenmen, expressing his growing doubts. He then directly confronts Hanfeng Linlin, revealing a disturbing rumor. Someone intends to use this sacred ground to abolish Go's established laws. Hanfeng Linlin, unyielding, challenges Go to propose an alternative. How should we govern our city in the future? He demands, his eyes fixed on the current leader. With an intense, fiery gaze, Hanfeng Linlin declares a return to the old ways, where the strong dictate the rules. He asserts his sole right to the governor's seat, questioning who else could possibly hold such a claim. The scene shifts to a grand arena, ancient stone tablets looming overhead. Go stands alone, expressing his annoyance at the impending battle, lamenting that he must fight on an empty stomach after just waking. Go, cloaked in white, stands with an aura of quiet strength. He is the undisputed hero of Dark One City, a figure whose authority no one has dared to challenge until now. With a fluid motion, Go activates his soul gear, drawing a gleaming sword. He claims to feel the warmth of his opponent's soul, his senses honed for the coming conflict. Go descends from above, enveloped in swirling, ethereal energy. Below, Hanfeng Linlin braces himself, the air crackling with the raw power of their impending clash. Go, seeking to prevent a fatal outcome, proposes rules. Surrender or being forced off the podium counts as a loss. Hanfeng Linlin, a smirk playing on his lips, readily agrees to the terms, his intent clear. Without hesitation, Go unleashes Frost Strike. A chilling wave of azure energy erupts from his blade, surging forward with deadly precision, aimed directly at Hanfeng Linlin. A frost strike connects with brutal force. Ice shards explode upon impact, violently forcing Han Feng Linlin backward, sending him crashing into one of the massive stone tablets with a resounding crack. Ah Go observes Han Feng Linlin's resilient smelting aura, acknowledging its durability. But with a cold resolve, he declares his intent to freeze it instead. Han Feng Linlin's eyes widen in a sudden, chilling realization. Han Feng Linlin's arm begins to crystallize, ice spreading rapidly as he frantically calls for a pause, attempting to negotiate. Ah Go, however, remains unimpressed, dismissing his plea as an act and challenging him to reveal his true capabilities. Ah Go turns, a powerful surge of energy radiating from his form, creating a vortex of chilling winds. He lets out a brief sigh, momentarily relieved but remaining acutely aware of the lingering threat. Han Feng Linlin unleashes his art of spiritize, manifesting a colossal weapon, the Dark Cannon. Its massive barrel gleams, ready to unleash devastating, raw power. Ah Go's eyes glow with an intense, almost predatory anticipation. He issues a direct challenge, daring Han Feng Linlin to unleash his full might. Show me what you have got. The Dark Cannon roars to life. Han Feng Linlin fires, unleashing a blinding explosion of golden energy that erupts across the arena, sending shockwaves through the very ground. Undeterred by the initial blast, Han Feng Linlin reveals an even larger, more formidable version of the Dark Cannon. Surrounded by an inferno of crackling energy, he states its sole purpose is pure, unadulterated firepower. Han Feng Linlin issues a stark warning to Ah Go, advising him to focus entirely on his defense. He declares that the tables have turned, proclaiming, "It's your turn to watch out." Ah Go's eyes narrow, preparing for the incoming assault. With a thunderous command, fire, Han Feng Linlin unleashes the upgraded Dark Cannon. An immense, arena-shaking explosion of golden energy erupts, engulfing everything in its devastating blast. Golden energy rips through the arena, sending a figure in white soaring through the night sky. Spectators below recoil in utter disbelief at the sheer power unleashed. The figure, clearly caught in the blast, tumbles against the backdrop of the full moon, a testament to Han Feng Linlin's devastating attack. Yet from the dust, a voice echoes, taunting Han Feng Linlin. "Hehe, my apologies, Han Feng Linlin, for knocking you off the stage in one shot." Han Feng Linlin, still wielding his upgraded Dark Cannon, scans the area, activating his frost aura to detect any hidden presence. He realizes there is no one here. Suddenly, the enigmatic Ah Go reveals his true strategy. His severed soul disperses into countless minuscule icy particles, forming a frosty illusion that completely conceals him from view. Ah Go's eyes glow with chilling intent as he declares, "Only when my blade runs you through will you see my true self." Without warning, Go unleashes a limit-break frost strike from above. Han Feng Linlin cries out, caught off guard by the sudden, piercing attack. Ah Go materializes, mocking Han Feng Linlin. "Ha, should we bet on how many of my frost strikes you can dodge?" Han Feng Linlin is no easy target. He swiftly counters, shattering Ah Go's icy form with a powerful blow, eliciting a surprised gasp from him. Han Feng Linlin unleashes a barrage of golden energy blasts from his cannon, declaring, "Idiot, you are at the coldest point, no doubt about it. Eat this." To Han Feng Linlin's shock, Ah Go appears above, dispersing once more. Ah Go reveals his deception. "Trying to find me by following the frosty trail will only lure you into a trap." Ah Go's eyes blaze with concentrated power as he explains his soul gear is spread everywhere, allowing him to concentrate it at will. He then warns, "You, however, have left yourself completely exposed," before initiating another limit-break frost strike. Han Feng Linlin is engulfed in ice, his body rapidly freezing as he struggles, exclaiming, "My body is about to freeze." Trapped and unable to move, Han Feng Linlin grits his teeth, acknowledging his predicament. "I can't move and INCH. Ah Go descends, confident in his victory, declaring, "My next strike will finish you." Despite being frozen, Han Feng Linlin maintains his composure, taunting Ah Go about the previous hits. "Seems like they broke a few bones. That must have hurt, right? All 6 shots hit." With a sly grin, Han Feng Linlin shatters the ice around him, revealing his true nature. "Whenever my opponent starts to think like that, I can always find a way to surprise them." He pulls out a modified cannon, smoke billowing from its barrel. "Bong." "Well then," he mutters, a new plan already in motion. Han Feng Linlin's confident smirk widens as he directly addresses Ah Go. "And now, do I have your respect, Officer Han Feng Linlin?" Ah Go, now defeated and sprawled on the ground, looks up at Han Feng Linlin, who stands victorious on a higher ledge. The crowd has witnessed the entire spectacle. Ah Go, with a grudging respect, acknowledges his defeat. "You bested me fair and square. Of course, you have now earned my respect." Suddenly, a whip-like chain snatches Han Feng Linlin, pulling him away from the arena. He cries out, "WOAH," as he's forcefully extracted. Ah Go, his icy face still showing cracks, glares with renewed determination, vowing that won't happen again. Another figure, wrapped in a serpentine chain, remarks to Ah Go, "You got lucky against Han Feng Linlin." The figure, now identified as Siwan Yenshen, still wrapped in his serpentine chain, scoffs at Ah Go's resolve. He mocks Ah Go, questioning if 5 years of hellish training in the realm of hell has only amounted to him firing a bullet from an iron pipe, deeming it a ridiculous waste of power. Companion, a man with distinctive round glasses, observes the exchange, his expression unreadable, simply uttering Ah Go's name as a silent acknowledgement of the unfolding drama. Ah Go retaliates, activating his formidable golden gauntlet. The massive, gleaming weapon materializes, ready to unleash a devastating counterattack. But Siwang Yenshin is faster. His serpentine chain lashes out, a blurred strike that slams into Ah Go, sending him crashing to the ground amidst splintering earth. Meanwhile, the woman, Bai Kai, reflects on the nature of desire. She questions if she truly needs to want something, her expression thoughtful and slightly perplexed. The man with glasses, observing Bai Kai, asserts that wanting something is fundamental, distinguishing humanity from mere beasts. He gently presses her to identify her own hidden desires. He then shifts, his gaze distant, asking Bai Kai if she remembers their shared past, the grim days they endured as slaves. Back in the fray, Ah Go lets out a sharp grunt of surprise, his attention forcefully drawn back to the relentless assault. Siwang Yenshin, standing amidst the fractured ground, boasts of his mastery over the dark arts of venom from the realm of hell. He reveals his ultimate technique, Dark Poison, a concentrated soul power that withers anything it touches, declaring it his most damaging attack. He then activates Limit Break, Vicious Whip, his arm transforming into a deadly, segmented weapon pulsing with malevolent energy. Siwang Yenshin launches himself forward, slamming the Vicious Whip into the ground with explosive force, sending Ah Go soaring through the air amidst a torrent of shattered rock. Standing amidst the swirling green venom, Siwang Yenshin acknowledges Ah Go's resilience, noting that his Vicious Whip's power was significantly weakened after piercing Ah Go's defenses. Bai Kai, witnessing the brutal display, exclaims her awe at brother Siwang Yenshin's undeniable power as he raises his whip once more, ready to strike again. Ah Go clenches his fists, his jaw tight, gathering his remaining strength and resolve for the next impact. Suddenly, a blinding burst of energy erupts from Ah Go's head, shattering his mask and leaving him momentarily stunned by the raw power he's unleashed. Before Ah Go can recover, Siwang Yenshin seizes the opportunity, slamming a massive iron cylinder directly onto Ah Go's head, driving him further into the broken earth with a final, crushing blow. Buried beneath the crushing impact, Ah Go's eyes snap open, burning with an incandescent rage. He lets out a guttural roar, vowing that Siwang Yenshin's brutal attack was a fatal error and that death awaits him now. But the force was absolute. Ah Go remains utterly pinned, a single hand desperately clawing at the shattered earth, his struggle a silent testament to the devastating blow as dust plumes around his defeated form. A new figure, Zongheng, observes the scene with a condescending smirk. He muses on the predictable arguments of the conservatives, dismissing their adherence to outdated traditions and cultural values. Sharp tch escapes Zongheng's lips, a clear sign of his disdain for such rigid thinking. Zongheng lets out a guttural roar, condemning the old traditions as barbaric, idiotic, cruel, illogical, and utterly worthless garbage. Zongheng points an accusing finger, his voice echoing with conviction. He challenges the adherents to antiquated ideals, questioning why others refuse to adapt to his new rules and cannot see the difference his methods bring. Zongheng's laughter rings out, a taunt to his opponent. He demands to know if they finally understand his reasoning, then challenges them to a rematch, promising to beat them until they concede. The tall, imposing figure, Siwang Yenshin, acknowledges Ah Go's victory in their previous battle, stating that he has earned his respect. Siwang Yenshin raises an arm, an aura of energy swirling around it, and declares his full support for Ah Go to become the next governor, his voice resonating with authority amidst the ancient stone tablets. Ah Go stands barefoot, a powerful, ethereal energy manifesting as wing-like tendrils from his back. He clarifies his stance, stating he is not a proponent of the old ways but stepped forward as a challenger for a specific reason. Zongheng's face hardens, his resolve clear. He states that defeating his opponent here is paramount to earning the respect of their people and the only path to becoming the governor. Zongheng faces his challenger, explaining that under normal circumstances he would have conceded the governorship. However, due to the city's pressing issues, he asserts that he is the only one capable of leading, thus claiming the title for himself. From the sidelines, observers remark on the enigmatic strength of the Dark One's general, acknowledging his unpredictable power. Veiled Man's eyes narrow, concluding that this impending battle will prove exceptionally challenging for Ah Go. Zongheng, startled, calls out to his opponent, requesting a brief moment to speak before the battle commences. Siwang Yenshin looks on, a question in his eyes, as Zongheng approaches him, placing a hand on his shoulder and beginning to explain something to him. Siwang Yenshin strides forward, leaving the ranks of his soldiers behind, his purpose unwavering as he steps into the light. Siwang Yenshin declares Ah Go as the chosen one, publicly endorsing him to become their governor, his voice booming across the arena. Zongheng offers a subtle, knowing smirk, a silent acknowledgement of the unfolding events. A fierce, blue-skinned warrior with glowing green eyes screams a challenge, asserting his intent to be the first to deal with the individual in question, demanding clarity from his audience. Zongheng calmly explains the democratic process, stating that he requires a majority of votes to become governor, emphasizing that the ultimate decision rests with the people. A large, impassioned man shouts, reminding everyone that Ah Go was the one who established the protective laws, questioning if there's any valid reason to deny him the governorship. Zongheng forcefully pushes the man away, dismissing his words and declaring his intention to handle matters personally. A group of pointed-eared individuals, one wielding a sword, questions the supposed benefits of the new system, while a diverse crowd of people observes the unfolding debate. Zongheng, hand on his chest, passionately argues that if he hadn't established the electoral laws 5 years prior, the Dark One's city would have fallen into indolence. He asserts that his system empowers the capable, driving them to strive for greatness and benefit their people. Zongheng, his face contorted in anger, reiterates his previous statement, demanding if they now grasp the profound benefits of electing their own governor. Zongheng addresses the crowd, asserting that even selfish actions can yield positive outcomes, a principle he claims to have always championed. He commands their attention, reminding them of his role in shaping the city's future. Ah Go stands with his back to the camera, raising a triumphant fist as a massive crowd erupts in cheers, chanting his name, a wave of popular support washing over him. The man with glasses, wearing red beads, calmly reasons that both he and Zongheng are proponents of the law. He warns that if they fight amongst themselves, allowing the supporters of the old rules to prevail, it would spell the demise of the Dark One city, urging Zongheng to consider the implications. Despite the urgent plea for unity, Jiang Shang, the man in the white robe, offered no immediate response to Zongheng. Instead, with a distant gaze, he silently recalled the recent chaos of the heavenly assembly before turning and walking away, leaving his former companions behind. Meanwhile, the city descends into a wild, primal celebration. Fires blaze as the populace revels in their newfound freedom, dancing and feasting, demanding more meat to fuel their insatiable revelry. Zongheng, however, remains focused on the long game. He acknowledges that the current leader's reign is temporary, lasting only 5 years, and that ultimately, their fate rests in their own hands. Elsewhere, a young boy named Wei Shan cautiously explores the desolate stony graveyard, a place rumored to be scary. He wonders if he can find the person he seeks, having heard they often frequent this eerie locale. A sudden, unseen threat forces Wei Shan to flee, his desperate gasps echoing through the silent, oppressive atmosphere of the graveyard. Wei Shan is confronted by the imposing officer Siwang Yenshen, who dismisses him as a mere brat. Undeterred, Wei Shan bravely declares himself a citizen of the Dark One city. Another masked figure, blindfolded with red straps, speculates that Wei Shan, as Kong Kei's son, might be a spy. The first masked figure suggests he could simply be an admirer. Siwang Yenshen dismisses the idea of Wei Shan being a spy, asserting that his youth and social standing make him an unlikely candidate for such a role, even if they were to choose someone. Under the full moon, Siwang Yenshen sits in solitude beneath a gnarled tree, reflecting on the unsettling events and the implications of Wei Shan's presence. Back at the city, Zongheng's rage erupts. His face contorted in fury, he curses Jiang Shang, shouting his name with venom. Jiang Shang, however, maintains a serene demeanor, lost in memories. He recalls a past year when searching for Zongheng, he serendipitously encountered someone extraordinary. Zongheng, now wearing an eye patch, laughs heartily, remarking on Jiang Shang's changed appearance, playfully admitting he almost didn't recognize his old friend. Bai Kai, the woman, expresses her joy at the fortunate timing. She celebrates the return of both Ah Go after his 5-year slumber and Jiang Shang, remarking that all good things are happening at once. Ah Go, the large man, agrees with a hearty laugh, scratching his head. He adds a casual remark, confirming he's been around for a while. Ah Go then addresses Jiang Shang as Ah Shi, asking if the Sha belongs to him, indicating a familiarity and a past connection. Jiang Shang, eyes closed, reveals his affiliation with the White Creed. He explains their motto of kindness, salvation, and promoting good, stating his duty as a disciple to eradicate all evil. He further explains that his teacher is one of the honored ones of the White Creed, a group with ancient origins, and is well acquainted with the King of Zhou. Jiang Shang declares the King of Zhou's rule as the only righteous one, ruling with generosity. Therefore, he asserts, all others, including the Dark One's city, are vile and despicable, and must be eliminated. Zongheng confronts Jiang Shang about his drastic change and his intention to destroy the Dark One's city. Jiang Shang reveals his new name, Jiang Zia, stating that his actions are dictated by the White Creed's doctrine, not his own will. As Jiang Zia walks away, he tells Ah Go that their long-standing friendship compels him to be honest. He suggests that Ah Go's affiliation with the Dark Ones might actually work in his favor. Jiang Zia states that this path, his commitment to the White Creed, is the only way to preserve their friendship, implying a difficult choice and a future where their paths diverge. Jiang Zia advises Ah Go that his suggestion is for his own good. He warns that despite current trust, Ah Go, not being a true Dark One, would be the first to be blamed if anything goes awry. Zongheng's eye burns with fury as he challenges Jiang Zia, demanding to know if he will truly stand as his enemy. Zongheng defiantly asks what will happen if he refuses to yield, no matter the cost, his gaze unwavering as he faces Jiang Zia. Jiang Zia clenches his fist, his resolve hardening. The tension in the air becomes palpable as he prepares for the inevitable conflict. Ah Go intervenes, grabbing Jiang Zia and reminding him of their shared past as brothers. He implores Jiang Zia to abandon the White Creed and return to them in the Dark One city where he belongs. Ah Go, with a resigned expression, questions the pursuit of significance, asserting that living an ordinary life is not inferior to anyone else's, pleading for Jiang Zia to reconsider. With a swift, forceful motion, Jiang Zia pushes Ah Go away, his determination unshaken by his friend's desperate plea. Enraged by Jiang Zia's cold rejection, Zhong Heng unleashes a powerful punch, connecting with his former friend and drawing blood. "Damn you!" he roars, his voice filled with pain and betrayal. Bai Kai gasps in shock at the sudden violence, her hands flying to her mouth. Zhong Heng, undeterred, continues to yell Jiang Shang's name, demanding answers. Zhong Heng grabs Jiang Zia by the collar, who lies on the ground, demanding if he has forgotten their friendship, the bond they once shared. Zhong Heng's eyes blaze with resolve. He declares that Jiang Zia has brought this upon himself and promises a lesson he won't soon forget, his voice laced with menace. Zhong Heng orders Bai Kai to step aside, then challenges Jiang Zia to demonstrate the tricks he learned from his exceptional teacher, mocking his audacity in defying their bond. Jiang Zia calmly accepts the challenge, revealing his mastery of that smelting aura technique. Bai Kai, distraught, cries out for them to stop fighting, fearing the consequences. Ah Go looks up in awe as a colossal, jagged formation of raw, glowing energy manifests in the sky, a testament to power beyond ordinary comprehension. He acknowledges its extraordinary nature, realizing the gravity of the impending battle. As Ah Go grapples with the sheer scale of power, the narrative shifts, revealing Li Jing, a figure burdened by a decade of waiting. His gaze, filled with a mix of anticipation and longing, promises a reunion that has been over 10 years in the making. The stage is set for Wager, the 9th part of Feng Shen Ji Season 3. The colossal energy formation that captivated Ah Go now looms as he plunges into battle, facing off against an agile, powerful adversary amidst a chaotic clash of elemental forces. The agile opponent, a white-robed figure, floats effortlessly, radiating an immense, smelting aura. He declares his power is beyond Ah Go's reckoning, manifesting countless glowing projectiles that encircle him like a deadly halo. In response, Ah Go summons a colossal, silvery shield, an ornate, metallic bastion rising from the ground to defend against the impending assault. The white-robed figure observes from above, unfazed. Ah Go, refusing to be passive, unleashes a powerful punch directly into the silvery shield. A blinding impact erupts, and the shield cracks under his raw strength, prompting his opponent to mockingly question its durability. The white-robed man reveals the shield's true nature, an additional power capable of weaponizing sound. A sharp, golden energy spike bursts from the shield, aimed directly at Ah Go, demonstrating its hidden, deadly potential. He addresses Ah Go directly, explaining that his smelting aura possesses a unique, transformative property, hinting at the true depth of his abilities as the shield pulsates with ominous energy. Suddenly, the silvery shield fragments erupt outwards, transforming into multiple metallic projectiles. Ah Go reacts with lightning speed, leaping back to evade the sudden, unexpected barrage. Ah Go is caught off guard as more shields materialize, forming a rapid, inescapable encirclement. The metallic bang of their appearance echoes as he realizes he's been lured into a deadly formation. He finds himself trapped within a meticulously crafted smelting shield formation, a cage of metallic bastions that appeared without warning. The realization dawns on him: he's completely surrounded, a pawn in his opponent's intricate game. The white-robed figure calmly observes Ah Go from outside the formation. His gaze is steady, almost dismissive, as if the outcome is already predetermined. A wave of unseen force strikes Ah Go, causing him to stumble and clutch his head in agony, disoriented and overwhelmed by that smelting aura attack. The pressure within the formation intensifies. With a deafening bang, the entire smelting shield formation unleashes its ultimate attack. A colossal, golden bell-shaped energy wave erupts, engulfing Ah Go completely in a blinding explosion of power. Meanwhile, far from the battle, a shadowy figure discusses the outcome of a previous conflict, mentioning Jiang Zia's victory and lamenting the uselessness of a new governor, hinting at broader political machinations. White-robed figure, confident in his victory, looks down upon the devastating aftermath. He acknowledges Ah Go's strength but believes no one could emerge unscathed from such a direct, overwhelming blow. The white-robed figure is now explicitly revealed as Li Nejia, son of Li Jing. He stands poised, a master of his craft, his identity now clear to the audience. A nearby observer, recognizing the name, reacts with a gasp of surprise. The implications of Li Nejia's lineage and power ripple through the onlookers. Li Nejia, with an air of finality, dismisses any notion of unfair play, stating that he and Ah Go engaged in a fair contest and that the battle is now finished. Just as Li Nejia declares victory, a small, fierce child, Jiang Kang, bursts onto the scene. With a furious shout, she confronts Li Nejia, demanding to know why he's harming her big brother Go. Jiang Kang, fueled by loyalty and rage, boldly declares her intention to deal with him herself, her small frame radiating immense determination. Her eyes blazing, Jiang Kang points directly at Li Nijia, challenging him to come at me if you dare and vowing to avenge Brother Go, a testament to her unwavering spirit. Against all odds, Go begins to stir, proving he is not defeated. Jiang Kang, the fierce child, rushes to him in relief, exclaiming, relieved at his survival. Li Nijia, unfazed by Go's resilience, calmly addresses Jiang Kang, questioning her desire to fight when the outcome seems decided. But the battle is far from over. A sinister he echoes as new, formidable figures emerge onto the scene. These are the legendary Tigan or Wan Gui from the mysterious Fan Island, their arrival signaling an even greater escalation of the conflict. From the mysterious Fan Island, two legendary figures, a towering muscular man and a serene cloaked figure, make their grand entrance. They represent the formidable Wan Gui, and their arrival casts a long shadow over the newly founded Dark One City, a place now drawing unwanted attention from neighboring kingdoms. Cloaked figure's eyes gleam with dangerous anticipation. He muses aloud, eager to uncover the rumored power of the Central Plain, a power he's heard much about. The muscular man stands silently, his immense presence a clear statement of power, observing the unfolding scene with an unreadable expression. An eye-patch man, his gaze sharp and direct, confronts the newcomers, demanding to know their identity. One of the newcomers reveals their origin, stating they hail from Phantom Island. The cloaked figure elaborates, explaining that many humans have trained on Phantom Island, unaware that the entire world they inhabited there truly belonged to the Wan Gui. The eye-patch man, surprisingly, confirms his knowledge of this hidden truth, even mentioning that their new emperor once visited the island. Cloaked figure continues, highlighting the Wan Gui's isolated lifestyle, rarely intertwining with the human world, hence their unknown existence. He then attempts to subtly manipulate the eye-patch man, suggesting he return to the kingdom of Zhou, the ruling faction of men, implying it's where he truly belongs. With a sinister smile, the cloaked figure dismisses his own suggestion, hinting at a better one he has in mind. Suddenly, the cloaked figure lunges, his hand glowing with potent energy, attempting to absorb the eye-patch man's power, declaring him a source of powerful nutrients. The sound of creaking energy fills the air. Before the attack can land, a fierce pigtail girl intervenes, activating her smelting aura technique as fiery energy engulfs her hands, declaring herself the cloaked figure's opponent. She unleashes a rapid barrage of boomerang wheels, fiery rings spinning with lethal intent, aimed directly at the cloaked figure. Cloaked figure watches the incoming attack with an amused smirk, finding the challenge fun. The fiery rings strike true, piercing his shoulder and drawing blood, yet his calm demeanor remains unshaken. With a mocking tone, the cloaked figure asks if she wants her attack back, clearly unfazed by the injury. He then unleashes a burst of golden energy from his chest, forcefully returning a more potent version of the attack. Before the pigtail girl can react, the muscular man intervenes, launching a massive, stone-like fist that sends her flying with a cry of pain. A venerable bearded elder steps forward, his presence commanding authority. He orders them to stand aside, declaring that the Wan Gui are beyond their capabilities. The battlefield expands, revealing numerous new figures, both allies and foes converging. The eye-patch man's companions question the identity of these weirdos, sensing the growing tension. From a distance, a helmet man from the Dark One City, hearing the loud bang, questions what has transpired, unaware of the powerful forces clashing. The cloaked figure and muscular man stand poised, observing the various reactions to their display of power, their expressions unreadable. The eye-patch man reveals his connection to the Wan Gui, stating they are masters of an old acquaintance. He laments the irony that this acquaintance, desiring his own legacy, has become subservient to others. He then demands to know the true purpose of their king in sending them. A white-robed man steps forward, explaining that the Dark Ones have lost their purpose and rituals. Their king commands all kingdoms of the Central Plain to gather in Ninggu to discuss their future. The white-robed man delivers an ultimatum: participate in this major event, or face isolation, a fate that would not bode well for the Dark One City. Meanwhile, the muscular man challenges a winged man, inviting him to a toast with a boisterous laugh, clearly eager for battle. Winged man accepts the challenge with a chilling grin, finding his opponent interesting. The battle ignites with an explosive impact, a blinding flash of green energy erupting as the two powerful figures clash. The winged man reels back, coughing blood, utterly surprised by the sheer power of his opponent. The muscular man unleashes a devastating projectile from a gun-like weapon, sending the winged man flying. The winged man, realizing his opponent's body is like iron, absorbing all attacks, finds this unique challenge interesting. With the fight escalating, the eye-patch man intervenes, commanding the Wan Gui to let them go, signaling a temporary halt to the intense skirmish. The intense skirmish gives way to a moment of quiet reflection as an elder sips from a delicate cup, his thoughts drifting to the relentless march of time and the young man's growth over the past decade. The young woman's eyes widen, filled with apprehension, as she processes a startling and sensitive revelation. A man with sharp features leans forward, his voice cutting through the silence as he demands confirmation about the young man's true, hidden lineage. With a heavy heart, the elder confirms the truth, acknowledging a crucial secret that, unfortunately, can never be revealed to the young man. The scene shifts dramatically back to the man with the eye patch, his resolve hardening as he addresses the elder, taking on the honor and immense burden of protecting the young man. Far away, an ancient stone idol, half buried in the earth, speaks with an unexpected hint of care, dismissing the notion that no one would ever truly care for the boy. The boy traverses a winding jungle path, watched by a slumbering tiger as the ancient stone head's voice echoes, inquiring about his training progress. The boy focuses, manifesting a raw, fiery orb of energy in his palm, its unstable glow illuminating his determined, young face. With a fierce cry, he unleashes his power, activating multiple golden rings of pure energy that erupt outwards, forming a formidable, shimmering shield. Overwhelmed by the sheer force he commanded, he then channels his power inward, meditating as golden projectiles orbit him, a testament to his burgeoning strength. Suddenly, the man with the eye patch appears, a flaming torch in hand, playfully chiding the boy for his boisterous training and questioning his sanity for such a powerful display in the middle of nowhere. Tears welling, the boy looks up at the man with the eye patch, confessing his deep desire for a strong, caring brother and asking to forge a sworn bond. With newfound hope, the boy joyfully proclaims the man his big brother, solidifying their heartfelt connection. Narrative fast-forwards, introducing new key players, a sharp intelligence officer and a robust specialist, both ready for their roles. Months later, a grand expedition is underway. The leader has meticulously prepared his top warriors for a crucial march toward their capital. The man with the eye patch, brimming with confidence, addresses the woman, entrusting her with the city's daily affairs and boldly declaring their unwavering strength. She, however, cautions the leader to be careful on his journey. The officer of education offers a solemn warning to the leader, emphasizing the unknown dangers from the mysterious island and the critical need for constant vigilance. Meanwhile, in a different realm, the son of the king reveals his chilling philosophy, viewing people as mere livestock to be controlled and consumed. A subordinate nervously reports that the king has once again succumbed to a berserk rage, a grim revelation that draws a cold, calculating gaze from the prince. King, consumed by a berserk rage, thrashes against an unseen force, his mind battling a demonic compulsion. He recognizes the malevolent name Ji Qiao, struggling desperately to resist its insidious influence. Prince Ji Qiao observes the chaos, noting the demon that has further enraged his father. He declares his intent to destroy this entity, believing the very realm of Zhou is in peril, acting with decisive, almost aggressive, resolve. A chilling close-up reveals the king's eyes, burning with a maddened, blood-red glow, his face contorted in a silent scream of torment. Ji Qiao's gaze hardens, his eyes reflecting a cold resolve. He laments his father's tragic state, promising to uphold his honor as the king of men, ensuring his name remains untarnished even if it means taking drastic measures. With a chilling display of power, Ji Qiao presents a bound figure to his incapacitated father, revealing his unique gift, the captured king of Zhou, now a prisoner at his feet. Ji Qiao stands impassively over his fallen father, who lies prone, defeated. The prince addresses him simply as father, devoid of warmth, a testament to his cold ambition. He acknowledges the challenge of his father's condition, yet maintains a detached perspective, viewing him as a resource to be managed rather than a loved one to be cared for. Ji Qiao's true nature surfaces as he coldly calculates the need for more slaves to serve his father, further solidifying his grip on power and control. His footsteps echo through a desolate, crumbling dungeon corridor, the air thick with an ominous silence as he descends deeper into the oppressive darkness. Arriving at a reinforced cell door, Ji Qiao announces his presence, his voice calm and controlled, a stark contrast to the despair that likely resides within. From within the cell, a tortured face screams, demanding death. His single visible eye, hauntingly blue, reflects profound suffering and madness. The prisoner, revealed to be the king of Zhou and Ji Qiao's godfather, stares back, calling Ji Qiao terrifying and an animal, finally seeing the prince's true, ruthless face. Ji Qiao, holding a fan, dismissively questions his godfather's habit, his expression cold and unconcerned with the man's plight. With chilling finality, Ji Qiao declares his need for a more powerful ally, discarding his godfather as no longer useful. The godfather's lone, blue eye reflects the crushing realization of his betrayal, uttering a single, heartbroken word, son. Chained and broken, the king of Zhou weeps in his dungeon cell, his body ravaged and unrecognizable from the torment he has endured since his capture. Later, Ji Qiao sits calmly with another figure, discussing the unfortunate reality that those reborn must abandon their past, hinting at a sinister transformation. He unveils his grand design to use Feng Du as a focal point, planting a seed that will spread across the entire country, transforming every citizen into his obedient puppet. Ji Qiao's face contorts into a sinister, satisfied smirk, his red eyes glowing with dark ambition as he contemplates the impending subjugation of the entire Central Plain. From the shadows of ambition, a new player emerges. The elegant host, with his long white hair and a welcoming smile, greets his distinguished guests from the Dark One city. He assures them of a comfortable stay at the Mountain House Inn, with lavish wine and delicacies prepared. The host humbly expresses regret for any potential shortcomings, while the eyepatch man, with a knowing smirk, assures him that all their needs have been thoroughly met, gladly accepting the hospitality. As night falls, a sense of unease settles. A heavy sigh escapes, hinting at the burdens carried by those present. Inside a room, a young little girl is startled by a large, ancient stone head materializing from swirling mist. She excitedly recognizes it, eager to play, oblivious to the gravity of its presence. The stone head reveals a chilling truth: the Phantom Island's inhabitants, reborn through the seed of longevity, are cultivating humans as food, establishing a grotesque farm in the mortal realm. The little girl, eyes wide with fear, demands to know, who are they? The stone head identifies them as 6 horrifying creatures, the rulers of Wan Chu, bender of laws. The stone head warns that these terrifying entities are nearby, within the city itself. It cannot linger, fearing discovery would mean the end for them all. With a blinding flash of light, the stone head vanishes, leaving the little girl reaching out, desperately calling for it to wait. Alone in the now empty room, the little girl looks around, her voice trembling as she calls out for her big brother. Meanwhile, the gasping man collapses, his body racked with an unseen affliction, gasping for air as he struggles to stand. He falls to his knees, each breath a painful gasp, his strength failing him. Horrifyingly, root-like tendrils visibly sprout and coil around the gasping man's feet, slowly consuming him. The eye-patch man and the little girl witness the grotesque transformation, the girl's face contorted in utter shock. A loud bang echoes as someone violently strikes a wooden door, the urgency palpable. Chubby man retches violently, his face green with sickness, making guttural wurg sounds. The eye-patch man scolds the ailing chubby man, who is hunched over coughing, for his lack of restraint, reminding him not to eat everything in sight. The eye-patch man contemplates the sinister fate of those who joined the White Creed, drawing parallels to the city's plight and wondering about the whereabouts of Jiangshan. Questions the purpose behind transforming humans into plants. The little girl, having pieced it together, exclaims that she knows the answer. The eye-patch man deduces that the 6 elder prince and the White Creed priests are one and the same, their influence crawling throughout Hingdu City. He then wonders about the missing King GFA. A shadowy figure with glowing eyes asks for clarification on who is being discussed. The shadowy advisor interjects, explaining that the reference was to the old king, leaving the first figure confused. The shadowy advisor chuckles darkly, lamenting that a timid individual prevented them from conquering the central plain and defeating the gods long ago. Imposing straw hat man, seated amidst twisting roots, speaks of new challengers from the city who have settled in the woods. He dismisses their capabilities, asserting that they will amount to little. The apple man chuckles dismissively. The glow eyes man speculates that their opponent's skilled fighters perished during the ancient clash with the gods, explaining their perceived weakness. The straw hat man cuts them off, declaring enough. He states that baseless arguments about their opponent's strength serve no productive purpose. Turning to Jiang Zia, the straw hat man inquires about the progress of planting the citizens with the seed, a chilling euphemism for their sinister plans. Jiang Zia, with hands clasped in reverence, reports that since Ji Qiao took charge, their progress has soared beyond expectations, with over 90% of the citizens already planted. The straw hat man nods, confirming that Ji Qiao's extreme selfish nature perfectly aligns with and serves their overarching agenda. Various shadowy figures, including Jiang Zia, remain deep in contemplation, their silent expressions hinting at the dark machinations unfolding. Close-up on a stone visage reveals their ultimate goal: only by obtaining it can their withered world be saved. The desperate ambition to save a withered world, to claim it at any cost, emanates from a formidable gathering. Their collective presence casts a chilling shadow, a palpable fiendish aura that promises utter conflict. At the forefront, Ah Go stands unyielding, his form radiating an intense, dragon-like energy. His gaze, sharp and defiant, signals an unstoppable will. A moment of silent apprehension hangs heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the raw power just unleashed. A bald figure stands in quiet contemplation. Ah Go's voice cuts through the tension, a fierce declaration that he severs all ties to the central plain and its people. He warns any who dare challenge his path to face his wrath. With an air of absolute dominance, Ah Go addresses a figure kneeling in submission, blood staining the ground. His words are a chilling finality to their defiance. A sardonic smirk plays on Ah Go's lips as he challenges a highness, questioning if they, too, will join forces against him and issue an edict. Ji Qiao, regal and composed, steps forward. Though he claims unworthiness, he accepts the grave task of hosting today's ceremony of heaven sacrifice. A single tear traces a path down Ji Qiao's cheek, a poignant flicker of sorrow as he speaks of someone who has passed away, hinting at a deeper personal cost. His sorrow quickly replaced by stern resolve, Ji Qiao declares his intent to share an indescribable gift. He announces that all citizens of Fengyu City have embraced it and welcomes others to join. Ji Qiao reveals the gift, the sacred seed of longevity, a relic of the White Creed. He proclaims its power to transform and transcend life, a power he has personally experienced. Overwhelmed by fervent desire, Ah Go cries out for the seed of longevity, his expression a mix of desperation and longing. He demands one for himself. Ah Go rationalizes his craving, believing the seed offers rebirth and unimaginable heights. He even considers it a path to redemption from his atrocious nature. Tension shifts as Ah Go faces Jiang Shang, the white-robed figure. A silent confrontation unfolds between the two, a history etched in their stance. Jiang Shang, calm yet resolute, reminds Ah Go of past warnings about the dangers of Feng Yu City and the formidable nature of the White Creed's honored ones. A moment of profound emotion washes over Jiang Shang as he reflects on his friendship with Ah Go, affirming his willingness to sacrifice his life just as Ah Go would for him. Jiang Shang then unveils the horrifying truth: when taken by a human, the seed merges, turning recipients into puppets. Their life force, he reveals, feeds a higher life form, a sinister purpose behind the ceremony. Jiang Shang, with a solemn bow, conveys the impossibility of understanding his choice to Ji Qiao, who in turn questions why he would embrace death. Elsewhere, other figures react with disgust to the grim revelation. With a thunderous roar, Ah Go pledges his unwavering protection to Jiang Shang. His eyes burn with murderous intent, ready to annihilate any who dare threaten his friend. Yet, amidst Ah Go's fierce resolve, a memory flickers in Jiang Shang's mind, a reassuring smile, a promise of good news from a past companion. This memory quickly shifts to a chilling warning from a mysterious hooded sage: remember, you have already died once. You are no longer the same. Clinging to the mundane will only allow the seed of longevity to consume your very life force. Do you understand? The sage's words echo a dire prophecy. It is useless. The seed of longevity will inevitably swallow all his life force. Against such grim pronouncements, Jiang Shang's own defiance erupts, a primal scream of refusal. I won't allow you to die. Do you hear me? With an impossible surge of will, Jiang Shang, aided by Ah Go's unwavering grip, defies fate. He somehow reverses the process of rebirth, transforming back into his human form. Ah Go, ever the provocateur, smirks at the recovering Jiang Shang. Yo, idiot, weren't you just telling me there was no way to turn back? You look pretty damn good to me now. Jiang Shang, still weak, can only manage a single choked word, overwhelmed by the impossible feat. Ah Go simply stands over his friend, a silent testament to their unbreakable bond and Jiang Shang's incredible resilience. From a distance, a childlike observer gasps in awe. Ah, that was sick. Big brother can even bring back the dead. But the hooded sage, ever cynical, rebukes. Mortals are not to be trusted. Yet, you insisted on using Jiang Shang, claiming a mutually beneficial relationship could exist with high-level seed takers. Another figure, regal and stern, interjects, addressing the hooded sage. Now your theory has been proven false. All those years you spent teaching Jiang Shang were for naught. Humans are simply not worth our time for any healthy relationship. Ah Go's sharp eye narrows, questioning, is he trying to draw power directly from Phantom Island to strengthen himself? Jiang Shang corrects him, revealing a deeper truth. No, this is a technique on an even higher level. All the citizens of Fengdu have already taken the seed of longevity. This entire city is, in essence, a massive pool of raw, stored energy. Ah Go's mind reels, the implications dawning on him as he witnesses the spectacle. Is he forging a city? Does such a technique even exist? Massive columns of golden energy erupt from the city, reshaping its very essence. The regal figure observes the unfolding power with a thoughtful, perhaps wary, expression, then turns, acknowledging the immense scale of the event. Suddenly, the ground erupts with vibrant, energy-infused vines, astonishing the childlike observer with a resounding, whoa. Jiang Shang explains the terrifying truth: there is a huge amount of life force moving through here. The honored ones can tap into it at will, granting them access to an inexhaustible source of power. Jiang Shang, his expression grim, continues his assessment. He states that confronting the honored ones here would be a grave disadvantage. Their already unfathomable strength, combined with this geographical upper hand, makes defeating them in this location nearly impossible. A stern-faced man, wrapped in white bandages, challenges them directly, demanding to know why they would commit such an act. White Bandage's gaze sharpens as he accuses them of turning against his faction, suggesting they are joining forces with their enemies. With cold finality, White Bandage declares the human world's resources are paramount and non-negotiable. He asserts that, by opposing them, they too must be eliminated. He then reveals their ultimate goal: to harvest sufficient life force from the human world before retreating to their own realm, the mysterious Phantom Island. The grotesque, organic structures rapidly expand and multiply, consuming the environment with an eerie, vital force. The ground itself seems to be coming alive. Jiang Shang questions the sudden emergence of these structures from the ground. Beside him, a dark-haired man reveals the chilling truth: these are all citizens who consumed the mysterious seed. A cynical smirk plays on Jiang Shang's lips as he deduces these are merely the low-tier seed takers. A serene woman in white, with an unsettling smile, extends her hands, inviting them to abandon their doubts and embrace the best wishes of Her Highness and the White Creed. The bearded man urgently warns against trusting her, his arm outstretched in a protective gesture as the unsettling, organic environment looms around them. Pigtail Girl, her face contorted in a furious shout, denounces the white-robed woman as a witch. As more individuals succumb, falling into the engulfing green mass, the white-robed woman beckons, her voice alluring, promising true peace and harmony. The Pigtail Girl reflects on the officer's profound words, acknowledging their depth. A subtle, approving voice then affirms, well said. Suddenly, a formidable dark-cloaked man materializes, causing the Pigtail Girl to let out a startled gasp. formidable dark cloak man, having just materialized, is instantly met with a brutal assault. A masked assailant unleashes a swirling torrent of energy, while a white-robed figure descends from above, challenging, "Let's see how long you will last." The attack slams into the dark cloak man, sending debris scattering. The white-robed attacker, his eyes glowing with malevolent power, lets out a triumphant, guttural laugh, reveling in the immediate advantage he's gained. Meanwhile, in a different, unsettling location, a young boy with prayer beads around his neck looks around in bewilderment. He questions if they are perhaps trapped inside the stomach of some giant monster, sensing the strange, organic environment closing in. Pigtail Girl, standing before a colossal, root-like entity that seems to form the very walls of this eerie space, recognizes the terrifying power at play. She declares that she knows the secret art they employ but cannot explain it in the moment. Elsewhere, a fierce battle rages. An eye-patch-wearing warrior delivers a devastating kick to a monstrous foe, shouting a single, lethal command, "Die." The impact is bone-shattering, a testament to his raw power. The eye-patch man, a sinister smirk playing on his lips, reflects on the situation. He muses that one cannot save those unwilling to be saved, before revealing a chilling truth: his opponent has now become a seed-taker as well. Back in the tendril-filled abyss, the dark cloak man stands before a monstrous, swirling vortex of organic matter, recognizing it with a grim realization: Dark One's governor. The entity pulsates with immense, ancient power. The Dark One's governor unleashes its full might. The tendrils erupt into a colossal, destructive maelstrom, engulfing the dark cloak man entirely. The sheer force threatens to tear him apart, a vortex of raw, organic energy. Despite being overwhelmed, a fierce resolve ignites within the dark cloak man. His eye blazes with an unyielding light as he prepares for a sudden, decisive strike. "Come, it is time for a surprise counterattack," he declares, channeling his hidden power. With an explosive surge of energy, the dark cloak man unleashes his counterattack. A powerful, golden gauntlet-like device erupts from his arm, smashing down into the heart of the tendril vortex, tearing through the organic mass with devastating force. The golden gauntlet, now fully manifested, rips through the encroaching tendrils, shattering them into fragments of organic matter. His counterattack isn't just defensive, a devastating punch connects, sending shockwaves through his opponent's form. The force of the blow is immense, driving back the tendril-wielding foe. Rapid follow-up strikes hammer into the opponent, each punch echoing with destructive power. With the tendrils repelled, the dark cloak man channels his energy, transforming the gauntlet into a formidable golden blade. "Eat this," he declares, ready to unleash a finishing blow. A moment of respite, and the dark cloak man, now clearly named Tuduan, grins confidently. He calls out, checking on an honored one nearby, assuring them of his well-being. As the threat dissipates, the golden gauntlet pieces detach and fall away. Tuduan casually pats dust from his shoulder, signaling the end of the intense exchange. The bandaged opponent, seemingly unfazed despite the blows, laments the intrusion of humans, praising the former peace of the island. He then counters, suggesting the human world possesses qualities his opponent lacks. His stance remains firm, the bandages around his feet hinting at a deeper, hidden power. With eyes closed, the bandaged foe declares his intent to completely shatter the suppression on his own divine power, an ominous promise. Suddenly, the bandages unravel and reform, revealing the indestructible armor of Yunu. The once bandaged opponent now stands as a formidable, armored warrior. Tuduan's confident smirk vanishes, replaced by disbelief. He questions if his eyes deceive him, realizing his opponent has forged an entire set of armor, a development that shifts the power dynamics dramatically. The weight of the mission presses down on the leader, his gaze hardening as he reminds his men that their duty is absolute. They must escort the target back to the city, regardless of the blood spilled or the price they must pay. Navigating this chaotic maze is no simple feat, but the leader knows the secret to tracking their prey. He orders his ally to ignore the visual illusions and focus on the target's power. It is the only beacon that cannot be hidden. The air thickens with killing intent as the warrior's eyes glow with a predatory green light. He drops all pretense of restraint, inviting his opponent into a lethal dance where only one of them will walk away alive. Energy begins to crackle around his fist, a visible manifestation of raw power surging through his veins. Every spark is a testament to the destructive force he is about to unleash. Clash is instantaneous and violent. By converting the blasting force of his explosive energy into forward momentum, the warrior pushes his hand-to-hand combat to the absolute limit, aiming to shatter the opponent's defenses in a single strike. A wild, manic laugh erupts from the warrior as the adrenaline of the fight takes hold. He finds the challenge exhilarating, relishing the rare opportunity to face an opponent who can actually withstand his initial onslaught. He shouts a single command, "Explode," as he detonates his power directly against the opponent's chest. The resulting shockwave tears through the environment, a blinding flare of energy meant to end the struggle right here. But as the smoke clears, the opponent stands unshaken. He scoffs at the effort, declaring that such a meager display of power is far from enough to even scratch his reinforced battle armor. The battle descends into a blur of high-speed exchanges. Each strike from the opponent is backed by immense weight, forcing the warrior into a desperate defensive maneuver. Suddenly, a new presence descends from above. Hovering with an aura of absolute authority, he looks down upon the combatants and coldly remarks that their desperate struggle is nothing more than a pointless waste of time. Warrior realizes he's been playing into a trap of deception. He shifts his focus entirely to the immediate threat, vowing to ignore the newcomer's words and trust only in his combat instincts to survive the next 10 seconds. The figure moves with terrifying speed, his fist connecting with a sickening thud. He mocks the warrior's attempt at learning, deciding to reward his efforts with another crushing blow to the skull. Despite the heavy impact, the warrior manages to weave through the follow-up strike. It's a razor-thin margin of error as he prepares a counterattack against the opponent's overwhelming physical superiority. Counterattack begins with a blinding pillar of light tearing through the dense, suffocating vines that once held the advantage. The impact is savage. A heavy kick connects squarely with the opponent's midsection, the force spraying blood into the air as the warrior's physical superiority is momentarily shattered. The bandaged warrior, however, remains cold and analytical. He felt the bones crack under his strike, multiple fractures that should have been fatal if they pierced the internal organs. He stares through the gaps in his wrappings, questioning if the fight has truly reached its end. Without divine protection, no mortal body should withstand the crushing power of his battle armor. Standing over his fallen foe amidst the writhing greenery, he prepares to fulfill his grim duty. The finishing blow is a necessity, a mercy for the defeated. His motivation is clear: the resources of the human world are too vital to lose, or else his home, Phantom Island, will be devoured by the encroaching nothingness. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. The governor, despite his injuries, tosses out a bizarre riddle about livestock on a farm, catching his executioner completely off guard. The bandaged warrior pauses, the sheer absurdity of the question stalling his momentum for a fraction of a second as he tries to process the logic. It's a trap. He realizes too late that the riddle was nothing more than a mental flashbang, a desperate distraction designed to create a window for escape. The governor isn't running. His eyes burn with a renewed, lethal focus. He isn't looking for a way out, he's looking for a way to win right here and now. With a snarl, he prepares to deploy his true trump card. He promises to shoot down the battle armor like squashing an annoying fly with his dark cannon. Reaching into the void, he summons the heavy weapon. The air hums with concentrated energy as the massive artillery piece materializes above him. Battlefield is redrawn. The governor stands behind the iron behemoth, the barrel leveled directly at the white-armored invader who has already sealed his fate. Precision is everything. The governor knows he can't fire recklessly. If he misses the flying target, the enemy will close the distance and end him. The speed is blinding. His eyes struggle to track the high-speed trajectory of the armored warrior, the situation turning dire as the gap between them vanishes. The cannon roars, a massive shell tearing through the air and detonating directly against the enemy's chest in a spectacular display of destructive power. Yet from the smoke emerges a new titan. The honored one, Hei Tai, stands tall, acknowledging that it has been years since an opponent managed to break his bones. Hei Tai's eyes glow with a mechanical, predatory light. He admits he knew the Dark Ones were tough, but he didn't expect the resistance to be this fierce. The governor wipes blood from his chin, a defiant grin spreading across his face. He taunts his old friend, claiming it will take much more than that to keep him down. Green energy erupts as he taps into a primal potential he himself fears. He prepares to unleash the true, uncontrollable nature of the Dark Ones. Hei Tai accepts the challenge with cold indifference. In response, the governor lunges forward, his fists glowing with volatile energy as he activates Explosive Blasting Fist. As the blows rain down, he mocks the invader's lack of combat experience. In the world of the Dark Ones, battle isn't just a simple attempt to kill, it's a refined art of survival. Verdant warrior, glowing with emerald energy, elucidates the Dark One's way of life. To become a true warrior, one must constantly challenge and surpass their limits through battle. It is a spiritual journey, refining power to its absolute peak. Heidi, the armored invader, braces himself, a resolute expression on his face. The verdant warrior unleashes Zhuanheng's ultimate technique, a concentrated torrent of green energy directed at his foe. Heidi stands firm, declaring his unwavering belief in the power of his smelting aura and Heidi's armor. He challenges the verdant warrior, daring him to break through his formidable defenses. The guttural roar, Heidi endures the direct impact of the verdant warrior's attack, his armored form shimmering under the intense green energy. The verdant warrior closes the distance instantly, delivering a powerful fist strike. Shards of energy explode from Heidi's neck as the blow connects with crushing force. Heidi is relentlessly barraged by a rapid succession of green energy blasts. Each impact drives him back, his defenses struggling to withstand the continuous onslaught. The verdant warrior charges, preparing to unleash his explosive blasting fist. Heidi, undeterred, meets the challenge head-on, readying his own, Heidi's armored fist for a direct clash. Their fists collide with devastating power. A chorus of cracked sounds erupts as Heidi's armored arm begins to fracture under the sheer might of the verdant warrior's attack. Heidi stumbles back, visibly damaged, but the verdant warrior presses his advantage. He declares his unwavering pride as a Dark One, asserting that he will not be forced into submission in this contest of strength. The verdant warrior activates his ultimate technique, World of Ferocious Soul, Hellfire. The scorching green energy engulfs Heidi, causing Heidi's armor to rapidly evaporate as the warrior pushes for a new spiritual breakthrough. Heidi's form deteriorates under the Hellfire's destructive power, his once formidable armor reduced to mere remnants, transforming into a skeletal, tree-like husk as the energy consumes him. Suddenly, 3 more Dark Ones appear, their expressions grim. One of them points, issuing a chilling command, kill them. Verdant warrior still grips Heidi's arm, but a strange, ethereal green energy now pulses from Heidi's body, and a pained "ah" escapes his lips. The Dark One leader, observing the grim scene, calmly explains his chilling philosophy. The idea is simple. When iron reaches a high enough temperature, it turns soft. Heidi's body grotesquely transforms into a colossal, withered flower-like entity. The leader continues his grim explanation. Their world's smelting aura is being lost, leading to nothingness that brings death and decay, slowly killing their world of Fixia. The leader observes the kneeling verdant warrior, remarking on the peculiar nature of the citizens of Wanchu, even in their demise. The verdant warrior, meanwhile, expresses uncertainty, wondering if Heidi is truly dead. Heidi, now a bandaged, white figure, reflects on the battle. He admits the smelting power from the heavy cannonball was too much, severely wounding him after 3 shots. He struggles to regain his footing, letting out a pained "ah". Despite his severe injuries and blood trickling from his mouth, Heidi's eyes burn with renewed resolve. He declares this the final round, having devised a counter to the dark cannon, vowing not to be hit again. Heidi's gaze sharpens, a grim determination setting his jaw. Despite the blood on his lips, his resolve is absolute. He has made his decision. No matter the cost, he will swiftly end this confrontation. With a surge of power, Heidi activates his counter. A blinding burst of energy erupts from his form, aimed directly at his opponent, the Jester. The Jester, caught off guard, braces himself, ready to face the full might of Heidi's divine power, vowing to break through it. Heidi acknowledges the Jester's formidable strength, admitting he's thoroughly impressed. To channel such divine power, supported by the terrifying dark cannon and smelting aura, makes the Jester a truly difficult opponent to defeat. Suddenly, 2 figures descend rapidly through the gnarled, root-like terrain. They call out to Heidi, apologizing for their delay, seemingly arriving to offer aid. Heidi, however, has no need for their intervention. With a casual, dismissive gesture, he unleashes a wave of force, sending one of the arriving figures, the young strategist, hurtling away, much to his shock. Undeterred, the young strategist, a determined warrior, refuses to be sidelined. He claps his hands together, his eyes burning with resolve, activating a powerful, secret art, claiming this moment for himself. Heidi's expression shifts to one of shock and frustration. He realizes, too late, that the young strategist's secret art has successfully trapped him, a move he hadn't anticipated. Amidst the chaos, the powerful warlord, an imposing figure with an eye patch and a fiery aura, emerges. He declares that without the aid received, he would not have been able to defeat his own formidable foe. The warlord then issues a stern command, protecting someone from harm. Below him, a massive, dark entity, possibly a transformed Heidi, looms with an ominous presence, surrounded by swirling, root-like energy. Colossal impact ripples through the environment. Figures are flung through the air, debris scatters, and the ground itself seems to convulse under the sheer force of the energy unleashed. A mysterious core begins to crack, signaling a critical turning point. The Oracle, a dreadlocked figure, confronts another. She recalls that this individual, once the priest of White Creed, had persuaded her to join the heaven sacrifice, and now seeks her destruction. With a solemn expression and closed eyes, the Arbiter, a long-haired figure, pronounces a definitive judgment. It's over. The finality of his words hangs heavy in the air. The Oracle, filled with regret, offers an apology, explaining her actions were bound by her teacher's bidding. She reminds them of the grave repercussions foretold before the seed was taken during the ceremony of heaven sacrifice. The Arbiter delivers the ultimate decree. The defeated entity is now woven into the fabric of Phantom Island. Their life force, though extinguished, will transfer to nurture new life, and their consciousness may yet remanifest, waiting for rebirth within the island's very essence. Yet, even as one life fades, the echoes of trust and betrayal reverberate. The white-haired elder, Zia, laments, his gaze sharp with disappointment. You were among the few I trusted. To betray the White Creed, it truly leaves us irreconcilable. The chilling command, be gone, Zia seals the traitor's fate. The entity beneath him dissolves into a maelstrom of golden energy and jagged crystal shards, its form unraveling into the very essence of the island. A desperate plea echoes through Zia's mind. I beg you, Zia, please save me. Yet, his eyes remain closed, hands clasped firmly on his sword, a silent testament to his unyielding resolve. The dark-haired man, enveloped by a faint green aura, contemplates his path. He muses, you want to be like me and betray the White Creed? A heavy question, hanging in the air. Another voice, burdened with desperate hope, implores Zia, given our past friendship, please show me the way. Zia's crimson eyes narrow, the weight of a difficult choice etched onto his features. Zia questions, holding on to humanity. The dark-haired man, with a somber expression, warns him, Your Highness, this is a highly risky endeavor. Only attempt it if you are truly determined. The dark-haired man shares ancient wisdom. Teacher once taught that a seed taken by oneself affects only the owner's inherent nature. Only your soul will wield its power. The seed of longevity holds immense power, and it is the only way to conquer the darkness. The process is like being swallowed by endless darkness, but by becoming stronger, unburdened by majesty, your soul becomes your mind, leading you towards life. Suddenly, a new observer, a man with an eye patch, stares in utter bewilderment. What is going on? He exclaims, a babe just popped out of the rock. A regal woman with a golden diadem declares her resolve. Today, I must protect someone I care about, she states, her gaze firm. Perhaps it's time for me to stop running and face you again. Amidst a swirling vortex of golden energy, the woman, identified as Wu Nu, confronts her adversary. I've been hiding from you for many years, afraid of being found, she reveals, as the chaotic energy intensifies around them and a massive cannon looms. Wu Nu pleads urgently, please listen to me. You have been deceived. Collecting life force from the human world has nothing to do with fighting against the nothingness. Bandaged man, blood staining his cheek, challenges Wu Nu. Are you not afraid I could be an agent of nothingness? He asks, if so, why did you stop them from killing me? Wu Nu simply offers a faint, knowing smile, a soft ha-ha escaping her lips. A stern voice questions, when did those thoughts of evil first start to appear? Wu Nu, with a serious expression, proposes, let's find the truth together. Sly hee-hee escapes from lips as a finger points, a subtle, perhaps ominous, gesture. The eye-patch man gasps, whoa. As expected, she is Naja's mother. Below him, a young boy, Naja, glares with fierce intensity, his eyes wide with emotion. Wu Nu looks directly at the boy, her voice firm with maternal authority. Naja, you're my son. Powerful ability, Siwang Yenshin, activates, manifesting as a shattered emerald shield engulfed in furious flames and raw energy tearing through the air. The honored one, Ka Yi, exhales in relief. Phew, he finally fell, he mutters, his gaze sharp, the battle seemingly concluded. Ka Yi extends his hand, a mischievous hee-hee escaping him, as he activates fire of smelting aura. Golden energy flares from his palm, ready to strike. Ka Yi looks into the distance, a thoughtful expression on his face, surrounded by a subtle golden glow. Perhaps my brothers have all accomplished their missions, he muses, a sense of completion in his voice. As Ka Yi pondered his brother's fates, a different tale unfolds, one steeped in sorrow and vengeance. This was the origin of the Iron Mask, a young man once robbed of all love, cast into the deepest pits of despair. Feared by all, he became the very embodiment of sorrow, the spectral guardian of the stone graveyard. Yet, standing in stark contrast to such despair, was Ku Yi. His serene demeanor and piercing red eyes hinted at a different kind of power, a calm before a storm. The calm shattered as Iron Mask unleashed a devastating, green-hued strike. The blow connected with brutal force, pulverizing Ku Ye's form in a blinding explosion of energy. A smack echoed through the battlefield. Iron Mask, radiating an ominous green aura, turned to face his opponent. Well, honored one, Ku Yi, he taunted, are you enjoying this? Being whipped from head to toe must be a new experience for you, right? This is the sensation of battle. But Ku Yi was far from defeated. His eyes blazed with renewed determination. I will show you my true fighting form, he declared, as the spiritual aura of the Phantom Island began to manifest, swirling around him in vibrant green leaves. Enveloped in a powerful vortex of green energy, Ku Yi rose, his body now a weapon. As I have told you before, he proclaimed, our most powerful weapon is our body. The sheer scale of his transformation was immense, challenging Iron Mask's dominance. A flicker of past fear crossed Ku Ye's face, recalling a moment when even he was scared the shit out of the raw power unleashed. Yet it was quickly replaced by a confident smirk. It doesn't matter, he declared, I still emerged victorious in the end. I only believe in elegance, perfection, and superiority. Ku Ye's confident smirk solidified as he unleashed his true might. Verdant, glowing energy erupted from his form, manifesting as massive, twisting vines that coiled and surged, threatening to engulf everything. High above, another warrior was caught in the escalating tempest. But Ku Yi was not the only force to be reckoned with. A formidable opponent, cloaked in the fiery glow of the Firestorm battle armor, stood defiant. The armor pulsed with intense heat, its very presence a challenge to Ku Ye's dominion. The armored warrior, agile and deadly, lunged forward, his weapon, the vicious whip, lashing out with devastating force. Ku Yi struggled to evade, realizing the whip's initial impact was only a prelude to the crippling damage it inflicted once it latched on. The fiery whip tore through the air, its destructive power evident as Ku Yi desperately sought an opening, a weakness in his heavily armored foe. The battle was a brutal exchange of raw power and calculated evasion. From a distance, a man in a wide straw hat observed the unfolding conflict. He noted Ku Ye's smelting aura had utterly overwhelmed even the formidable power of flame, confirming Ku Ye's earlier boast of superiority. Later, the hat-wearing man confronted a white-haired elder, questioning if he had escaped the battle. The elder clarified that the fight was stopped by Shi Ji, not a retreat. White-haired elder pondered the grave implications of their struggle. He voiced his deep concern that the combined life force they had painstakingly gathered might be insufficient to resist the encroaching threat of the nothingness. The man in the straw hat revealed a deeper conspiracy, a council of 6 sworn to defend the kingdom of Wan Chu from the nothingness. He suspected Shi Ji was attempting to sow discord among them, perhaps even acting as an agent of the very enemy they fought. Elsewhere, a resolute protector, his eyes burning with determination, declared his unwavering resolve. He vowed that no one would be allowed to destroy that central pillar, hinting at a crucial objective in the unfolding war against the nothingness. The protector's resolve was immediately tested as a blinding explosion of raw energy erupted, sending one combatant reeling skyward with a pained grunt while another braced for the devastating impact below. Meanwhile, a cloaked figure accused Sun Nu, declaring her a traitor for stealing their most powerful weapon against the nothingness and branding her an enemy of Phantom Island. The bandaged warrior beside him listened, his expression unwavering. Far from the conflict, a regal woman, adorned with a golden circlet, reflected on her journey, confessing her ongoing struggle to understand motherhood and how her stone-faced persona was part of that complex learning process. Her gaze hardened, a subtle shift in her demeanor as she offered something profound, a gift whose true nature remained veiled. Deep within a cavernous realm of intertwining roots, a group of warriors navigated the treacherous terrain. One urged their companions to hasten, emphasizing the critical need to find a specific individual and uncover the truth behind their predicament. Suddenly, a warrior with distinctive pointy ears cried out in alarm and excitement, announcing the arrival of the great general amidst the swirling chaos. A brutal strike impaled a heavily muscled priest, a glowing blade piercing his chest. His stone-like skin began to crack and shatter, signaling a critical blow. The impaled priest's eyes widened in disbelief and agony, barely managing a choked syllable as his body began to crumble. Another white-robed figure reacted with a sharp "what," witnessing the swift, devastating attack unfold. Amidst a shower of shattering stone, Han Feng Lin emerged, his hooded form resolute. He stood as the sole victor, surrounded by the broken remnants of the defeated priests, his blade ready. A close-up revealed Han Feng Lin's face, his eyes obscured by crimson bindings, yet radiating an unyielding, silent determination. 2 pointy-eared warriors approached Han Feng Lin, expressing immense relief. They acknowledged his timely arrival, admitting they were overwhelmed by the priest's power before his intervention. Han Feng Lin revealed his senses were burning, detecting the powerful souls of Brother Go and Siwan Yenshen nearby, along with other honored ones from Phantom Island. He acknowledged their precarious situation, unsure of the full scope of the conflict. He inquired about the missing members of their group. One warrior explained that Zongheng Tianxia had been separated after being challenged by honored one He Tai. A female warrior reassured them, stating that Zongheng Tianxia and Siwan Yenshen were formidable warriors of the Dark Ones who would handle themselves. Han Feng Lin, however, let out a hacking cough, hinting at his own deteriorating condition or a deeper concern. Elsewhere, the imposing figure of Zongheng Tianxia stood, a small, winged companion perched on his shoulder, his gaze fixed upwards, contemplating the unfolding events. Zongheng Tianxia expressed his urgent desire to return to Wanyu to prepare for the ultimate showdown against the nothingness. His winged companion added that she, too, had sensed something strange, an ominous premonition of what was to come. The air crackled with an unspoken tension, a chilling echo of the premonition that had settled deep within Zongheng Tianxia and his winged companion. The urgency to reach Wanyu became an undeniable command. His gaze hardened, reflecting an unyielding resolve. Every fiber of his being was primed for the ultimate confrontation against the nothingness. With a powerful surge, Zongheng Tianxia activated his void step skill. The world blurred around him as he covered vast distances in an instant, a direct path forged towards his destination. His winged companion, a blur of iridescent feathers, sliced through the atmosphere beside him, her speed a testament to their synchronized purpose. Suddenly, a rupture in reality appeared before them, a chaotic vortex spewing forth shadowy tendrils, a direct manifestation of the nothingness encroaching upon their path. Zongheng Tianxia's eyes narrowed. He activated Soul Sever, his blade igniting with spectral energy as he lunged, aiming to cleave through the encroaching darkness. The tendrils lashed out, attempting to ensnare him, but Zongheng Tianxia executed a flawless shadow dodge, appearing behind his foe in a flicker. His attack connected with devastating force. A system notification flashed. Critical hit. Shadow tendril defeated. Plus 500 EXP. The vortex recoiled, momentarily destabilized by the precision strike. Zongheng Tianxia didn't falter, pressing his advantage with relentless efficiency. He unleashed Heaven's Judgment, a cascade of ethereal blades descending upon the rift, tearing through the fabric of the encroaching threat. The rift pulsed violently before collapsing inward, a temporary victory against the pervasive darkness. The path ahead was clear, but the sinister aura lingered. His companion landed beside him, her expression grim. She sensed the deeper malice, a feeling that this was merely a skirmish, not the true battle. Zongheng Tianxia merely nodded, his focus unwavering. He knew the true enemy lay ahead and every moment counted. He activated Divine Sprint, a burst of pure energy propelling him forward at impossible speeds, his companion soaring effortlessly above. The landscape below them began to shift, growing desolate and corrupted, a clear sign they were nearing the heart of the nothingness's influence. A colossal, shadowy figure began to coalesce on the horizon, its form vaguely humanoid but impossibly vast, emanating an oppressive aura. Dongheng Tianxia's hand instinctively went to the hilt of his blade, his stance shifting, preparing for the inevitable clash. This was it, the ultimate showdown. The very air vibrated with immense power as the nothingness solidified its presence, casting an eternal shadow over the land, signaling the true beginning of their war. Amidst the encroaching darkness, the one-eyed general, a formidable commander of the Dark Ones, fixes his gaze with murderous intent, revealing the hidden location of the forbidden children. This is no mere skirmish, it is a declaration. The young girl, her face etched with a mix of defiance and confusion, cannot place this powerful warrior, her innocence clashing with the grim reality of the unfolding conflict. Another warrior, his expression tight with concern, calls out to his teacher, recognizing the immense threat that has just emerged. A regal woman, adorned with a golden headband, acknowledges her brother with a solemn nod, the unspoken weight of their shared destiny hanging heavy in the air. Then, a colossal presence descends. The honored one, Bai Yu, makes his formidable entrance, his very being radiating an overwhelming power that demands immediate attention. Bai Yu, his back a mountain of power, confronts the regal woman, Shi Ji, berating her for her past actions on Tom Island and demanding the immediate surrender of a mysterious seed. Shi Ji defiantly refuses, asserting her distrust in Bai Yu's intentions and declaring the seed's safety in her hands. Bai Yu's patience wears thin, his warning sharp and final. Without hesitation, Bai Yu seizes Shi Ji by the throat, reiterating his demand for the seed and offering their lives as a cruel bargain. A furious shout of "bastard" erupts from the sidelines. Young girl, Shi Ji's daughter, unleashes a furious cry, launching herself forward with desperate speed, demanding Bai Yu release her mother. The one-eyed general, enraged by Bai Yu's brutality, declares his intent to teach him a lesson in humility. Bai Yu scoffs, warning him of the far graver matters of Wangu that the Dark Ones will soon face. With a defiant laugh, the general activates his formidable golden gauntlet, its intricate mechanisms glowing with raw power, ready to engage Bai Yu in direct combat. General, now revealed as Quan Dao, steps forward, shielding Shi Ji as debris explodes around them. He warns Bai Yu not to push his luck, proclaiming his long-standing bond with Shi Ji. Quan Dao unleashes a devastating punch with his golden gauntlet, connecting squarely with Bai Yu in a powerful, earth-shattering impact. The ground trembles under the force. Yet, impossibly, Quan Dao's strike phases through Bai Yu, revealing a phantom-like defense. It is Quan Dao who suffers the damage, blood splattering as a surge of counterforce rips through him, eliciting a shocked cry. An observer notes the unexpected parity in their battle as Quan Dao seemingly parries the attacks. Meanwhile, a mysterious hooded figure, another general of the Dark Ones, declares his amusement will soon end in Quan Dao's death, finding him a more entertaining opponent than any before. Dark One General clutches his chest, gasping for air. A dreadful frost aura swirls within him, piercing his body like countless needles, turning his very blood to ice. He struggles to breathe, each puff a battle against the encroaching cold. Quan Dao's gaze is distant, reflecting on a past battle. He ponders the futility of being the last one standing, with no one left to challenge or play with. Ice shards coalesce in the Dark One General's hand, a chilling premonition. He mocks Quan Dao, observing his distraction by a little bird, deeming him a fool from Phantom Island. Getting distracted in the midst of battle leaves you fully exposed, he declares, his sword poised for a decisive strike as Quan Dao kneels, vulnerable. Dark One General pauses, his ice blade shimmering. He states that a victory against a distracted opponent would bring shame to his warrior's honor. He instructs Quan Dao to secure the thing frozen by his frost aura. It won't perish immediately. With a stern expression, the Dark One General commands Quan Dao, "Go." "I'll wait." Quan Dao gently cradles the small, angelic figure, Xiao Lu, in his hands. Quan Dao looks at the frozen Xiao Lu, then addresses the Dark One General, acknowledging him as an opponent worthy of respect. Quan Dao settles into a meditative stance amidst swirling roots, urging Xiao Lu to just hold on. He resolves that once the Dark One General is defeated, the debilitating frost aura will dissipate. The Dark One General roars, unleashing his fury, cut him to pieces. Quan Dao, however, reacts with blinding speed, evading the incoming attack as ice shards explode around him. Colossal Ice Blade, the true attack, descends from above, shattering the illusion. The Dark One General mocks Quan Dao's distraction, chiding him for not noticing the real threat looming directly over his head. There's still more, the Dark One General warns, as Quan Dao anticipates and manages to catch the immense ice blade, struggling to hold its crushing weight. The colossal ice blade strains under Quan Dao's grip, cracks spiderwebbing across its surface as it begins to fragment. With a determined grimace, Quan Dao asserts that his fists are still fast enough to strike before the Dark One General can react. The general, however, challenges back, "Is that so? Are your fists faster?" His hand resting on his blade, ready. Surrounded by swirling ice fragments, the Dark One General reveals his tactical advantage. He declares that even without sight, he can pinpoint Quan Dao's location by the subtle collisions of the ice blocks. "Letting me get into this position means you've already lost," he states with chilling confidence. The Dark One general, his eyes bound, reveals his current vulnerability. He admits the battlefield is unstable, leaving him sightless and in need of a guide. Yet, with a chilling offer, he proposes a truce, lead him to his objective, and he will save Quan Dao's friend. Quan Dao, his fist enveloped in a searing golden aura, prepares for a decisive move. He challenges the Dark One general, questioning if this tactic hasn't already failed him in the past. The air crackles with immense energy. Resolute, Quan Dao addresses his unseen teacher, stating his conviction to do what he believes is right. He then turns his attention to Xia, acknowledging her weakened state after reversing her rebirth. He declares her smelting aura technique insufficient to stop him. Xia lies in a deep slumber, her vulnerability stark. A voice reflects on the youth of both Quan Dao and Xia, recalling a past fondness for humans, particularly Xia. Shi Ji, a graceful figure, cradles Xia. She explains that Big Brother is the strongest of the 6 honored ones in the kingdom of Wanchu. While acknowledging the governor's unknown potential, she warns that directly confronting Big Brother remains a monumental task. Shi Ji's expression turns wistful. She laments the situation, hoping that the governor can awaken his hidden potential in time to overcome the looming threat. Quan Dao's face hardens with resolve. He declares his ultimate mission to seize control, march into the heart of nothingness, destroy it, and save their world from certain doom. He vows to eliminate any obstruction to his sacred quest. Quan Dao stands tall, radiating power. He emphasizes the critical stakes for Phantom Island, his homeland. There is no room for error, weakness, or hesitation, as any falter will lead to utter failure. His plan, to relocate the entire city into the world of Phantom Island. The eye patch guy, a grimace on his blood-stained lips, confirms he can sense the power of souls nearby. However, he admits his inability to relay any complex messages. With a somber tone, the eye patch guy states the dire reality: there is no other path forward. The only solution is through Quan Dao's teacher to halt the city's relentless drift. Quan Dao pauses, absorbing the gravity of the situation, a silent ellipsis hanging in the air. Enraged, the eye patch guy points a furious finger at Quan Dao, whom he identifies as Honored One by Yu and Jiang Shang's brother. He issues a final, explosive ultimatum: stop the city's movement and allow Shi Ji to examine him for nothingness infection, or face his unbridled wrath. Quan Dao's eyes widen in disbelief and offense at the suggestion of being examined for infection, dismissing it as ridiculous. Quan Dao explains to the eye patch guy that detecting anyone infected by the nothingness is incredibly difficult unless they willingly reveal themselves, implying his own innocence. Shi Ji, holding Xia, gazes intently at Quan Dao. She simply asks him to trust her, her expression conveying the urgency of the situation. Ignoring her plea, the eye patch guy unleashes a devastating attack, activating his signature skill, Dark Cannon. With a sinister grin, the eye patch guy boasts about his Dark Cannon, declaring it the perfect counter. He mocks Quan Dao, deeming him nothing more than a practice target, promising to blow him up. A powerful defensive barrier shimmers into existence, deflecting the blow. The defender, straining, dismisses the governor's arrogance, stating he assumes too much. A desperate shout rings out, "Move aside, quickly, Jiang Shang." The warning reveals the incoming cannonball possesses twice the power, and the current shield will not hold against it. In a crucial establishing shot, the colossal giant city is seen nearing the world of Phantom Island. It's slowly drifting through a narrow gap between the human world and Phantom Island, a massive undertaking that will take considerable time. Amidst glowing, intertwining roots and vines, a weary warrior, likely Jiang Shang, stands. The environment pulses with raw, untamed energy, emphasizing the perilous struggle. The Dark One general reiterates his chilling proposition. Blinded and reliant on guidance, he offers salvation for Quan Dao's friend in exchange for being led to his destination, his confidence unwavering despite his handicap. Quan Dao, caught off guard, screams as the Dark One general unleashes a searing blast of energy. The air crackles, the impact momentarily blinding. Amidst the twisting, colossal vines, the Dark One general, still confident despite his blindness, reiterates his control, referring to his Mr. Governor status and the numerous slaves at his command. Quan Dao, however, notes the general's unique, unfamiliar powers. Quan Dao vehemently rejects the Dark One general's claims, asserting that his actions threaten the entire world. The general, Honored One by Yu, then invokes Xia's name, declaring his intent to transform the defeated nothingness into a portal. Xia cradles the sleeping child, a faint hope in her eyes as she whispers that the dire situation might yet shift. The Dark One general's voice softens, a surprising sentiment as he expresses a past fondness for humans, particularly Xia, acknowledging their youth and potential. Xia explains that her big brother, one of the 6 honored ones of Wanchu, is formidable. While recognizing the governor's potential, she stresses the immense challenge of directly confronting her brother. A shadow of regret crosses Xia's face as she ponders whether her brother could awaken his hidden potential in time to face the overwhelming power. Dark One general's resolve hardens. He vows to take personal control of the portal, march into the heart of nothingness, and destroy it to save their world from certain doom, allowing no one to impede his mission. The general, honored one by you, stands imposing, proclaiming that Phantom Island's survival outweighs any individual life. He carries the burden of millions, leaving no room for weakness or hesitation as they approach Phantom Island. Quan Dao, blood trickling from his lips, denies the general's assumption, stating he can sense the power of souls nearby but is unable to relay complex messages. Dark One General pauses, a silent question hanging in the air as he processes Quan Dao's words, his expression unreadable beneath a straw hat. Honored One by you scoffs at the suggestion of being examined, deeming it ridiculous. He then explains that those infected by the nothingness are incredibly difficult to detect unless they willingly reveal themselves. Quan Dao, seething with frustration, points an accusing finger at Honored One by you. He reveals the general's true identity, offering a final chance: halt the city's movement and allow Shi Ji to examine him for nothingness infection, or face Quan Dao's full, unbridled wrath. Xia, with a plea in her eyes, urges trust, a silent appeal to the escalating tension between the two powerful figures. Honored One by you questions how he could suspect his allies after their long-standing, united effort to forge the giant city. He challenges Quan Dao, demanding to know if he understands the sacrifices the Six made to halt the nothingness in his absence, vehemently refusing to abandon their world-saving plan based solely on Quan Dao's words. Xia, her expression grave, warns her brother, Honored One by you, that his obsession with the outcome will ultimately lead to greater losses than gains. With a ferocious roar, Quan Dao channels immense energy into his gauntlet, unleashing a devastating, explosive blast, commanding his opponent to eat this. Quan Dao smirks, confident that Honored One by you's battle armor isn't as formidable as it appears. Yet, in the next instant, he's sent hurtling through a tangle of vines, debris scattering around him. Honored One by you looks down with a cold, dismissive gaze, telling Quan Dao that he assumes too much. Young child, Xia, looks up, innocently asking if there's a way. Below, Quan Dao finds himself dwarfed by an immense, complex structure, an overwhelming force now fully unleashed around him. As Xia and Quan Dao grapple with the sheer scale of the unleashed power, a regal figure, the Guardian, stands amidst shimmering orbs of light. She activates a secret art, spatial rearrangement, declaring her intent to return 4 dark presences to their original positions a day prior. Suddenly, the Sky Guardian, adorned with feathered armor, erupts in protest, urging her to wait, his face etched with urgency. Elsewhere, Jiong Ji, the eye-patch warrior, gazes into the distance, a somber expression crossing his face. He resigns himself to a prolonged absence from the human world, anticipating the displeasure of someone named Bai Kai. The scene expands, revealing the colossal, giant city now fully manifested within the Phantom Journey. The Guardian proclaims its arrival, describing its immense power as the ultimate weapon against the nothingness, its energy surging, visibly growing larger with every passing second. Xia and Jiong Ji watch, overwhelmed. From atop the gnarled, ancient roots, Long Jiu, the figure in the straw hat, defiantly declares that his opponents are destined to fail, asserting his ability to overcome the nothingness even without the fabled last seed. Long Jiu points accusingly, challenging the validity of past claims regarding corruption by the nothingness, demanding proof for any sudden, reliable test of its agents. He grants them a single day, threatening swift action if they obstruct him further. Addressing Jiong Ji directly, Long Jiu vows to secure the last seed to ensure no one ever disrespects his fairy godmother again. But before he can finish, a sudden, unseen force shatters his hand in a burst of energy. An immediate, blinding aura storm erupts, engulfing Long Jiu and another figure in a devastating explosion of raw power. Pained grimace contorts the face of the figure caught in the blast, the silent agony palpable. Kneeling amidst the debris, the Sky Guardian cries out to Long Jiu, questioning his betrayal. He recalls their shared past, fighting side by side against the nothingness, Long Jiu always at the forefront, vanquishing countless mutated giants. Long Jiu, still standing among the colossal roots, reveals his deeper motivations, explaining how his restless search for the meaning of existence led him to discover something previously hidden. Long Jiu continues, stating he offered his heart and body, finding peace in return. The Sky Guardian retorts, condemning Long Jiu's service to nothingness, a power of pure destruction. The Guardian then interjects, explaining that destruction and creation are two sides of the same coin, and in their world, smelting aura embodies creation, while nothingness embodies destruction, maintaining a natural equilibrium. With a final, resonant command, Long Jiu activates the giant city to its full potential, the immense structure now a towering, unstoppable force. The Guardian observes the unfolding chaos with cold indifference, remarking on the apparent alliance between her foes, and suggesting they might as well perish together. Guardian declares her goal accomplished, asserting that Xia and Jiong Ji alone cannot halt the world's impending destruction. As the structure around them expands with terrifying speed, both Xia and Jiong Ji cry out in alarm, facing the overwhelming reality. Nejia's eyes widen in sheer disbelief as his opponent dissolves into a swirling vortex of shadow. He screams out for his brother, desperate to find a physical form in the suffocating black mist that now surrounds them. The weight of the situation settles heavily on the governor. Silence is his only companion as he contemplates the catastrophic turn of events, the gravity of their failure etched into every line of his face. Under the brim of his straw hat, the man's voice is a low, gravelly whisper of regret. He admits that despite his selfless intentions, he has led them into a mess from which there is no turning back. Ah Go remains motionless, his eyes closed as he feels the shifting energy in the air. The storm is coming, and he knows that the time for words has long since passed. Looking up with a grim determination, the warrior commands Zia to stay put. He has one final, critical piece of information to share before the world collapses around them. Long Jiu gazes toward the horizon, where the setting sun paints the sky in hues of blood and gold. A chilling sense of calm has finally descended, but it is the calm of a predator before the strike. Standing alone on the cracked, desolate earth, he looks like a solitary monument to a dying era. The wind whips through the wasteland, carrying the scent of impending doom. His cape billows violently behind him as he stands his ground. The atmosphere is thick with tension, every second stretching into an eternity as the power of the island surges. Amidst the chaos, a vibrant bird perches on a gnarled branch, a stark contrast to the surrounding decay. It is a fleeting moment of natural beauty in a world being consumed by the void. Long Jiu's voice drips with malice as he mocks their ignorance. He declares himself the vessel for the master of destruction and prepares to drag Ah Go into the domain of nothingness. Refusing to back down, Nija launches his improved boomerang, a ring of roaring fire that cuts through the air with lethal precision, aiming to shatter the darkness. The observer notes that while Nija is inexperienced, his hidden potential is being forced to the surface under the governor's guidance, even as Long Jiu is pushed to his limits. Group watches in horror as the energy shifts. They realize that the battle armor being manifested isn't just equipment, it's forged from the very essence of nothingness itself. In a moment of desperation, the master reveals his final gambit. He will teach the secret arts of origin, the only hope left to rectify the catastrophic mistakes of the past. A clenched fist holds the key to their survival. This is the seed of wisdom, a concentrated spark of ancient power that must be passed on before it's too late. Accepting the burden with a solemn nod, the warrior vows not to let his master down. The straw hat hides his eyes, but his resolve is absolute as he prepares for the final stand. The transformation is complete. The plague of nothingness has fully taken hold, magnifying the hunger and aggression of the host until nothing remains but a monstrous mutant. From the depths of the crater, a distorted voice rumbles. The battle armor has awakened primitive, savage urges, a localized hunger for flesh and blood that cannot be sated. Glowing yellow eyes snap open, burning with a predatory light. The creature fixes its gaze on its prey, uttering a single, chilling word that signals the end of all reason: human. The monster's chilling declaration is met with the thunderous roar of heavy machinery. Refusing to be intimidated, the warrior hoists his massive, multi-chambered cannon, unleashing a point-blank barrage while mockingly inviting the beast to feast on a diet of pure lead. But the creature is unfazed, its skeletal jaw unhinging as it radiates a terrifying, predatory aura. It doesn't just want to kill, it promises to devour every soul present, its body rippling with a grotesque, fluid-like energy. The cannon fire connects, creating a massive splash of energy that paints the sky in violent hues. Yet, as the smoke clears, the warrior looks up in realization, his heavy artillery barely scratched the surface of this nightmare. Stepping into the center of the storm, a powerful figure enters the fray. With a calm, calculated focus, he begins to condense a swirling vortex of golden energy in his palm, his very presence beginning to stabilize the chaotic battlefield. The earth itself screams as a colossal golem of stone and ancient brass erupts from the terrain. It lets out a piercing, mechanical screech that sends a wave of pure dread through the warriors watching from the mushroom-laden forest below. The monster sneers at their resistance, claiming that divine power and primal auras are equally useless against its might. To this creature, the island is already a relic of the past, destined to be swallowed by the void of nothingness. It activates a devastating skill, sending dozens of elongated, spectral hands bursting from the ground like a forest of death, reaching upward to ensnare the warriors in a crushing, inescapable hold. Caught in the supernatural trap, one of the warriors cries out for help as the pressure intensifies. His companion grits his teeth, shouting back through the chaos and urging him to hold on for just a few more seconds. A massive shockwave suddenly tears through the battlefield, a concentrated burst of force that shatters the spectral hands and sends debris flying in every direction as the counterattack begins. The monster's arrogant expression is instantly replaced by a sharp gasp of agony. An unexpected strike has pierced its defenses, proving that even a harbinger of nothingness can feel the cold sting of pain. Darkness within him doesn't just heal, it intoxicates. He basks in the sensation of cold power flooding his veins, feeling more alive than ever as his yellow eyes burn. Towering over the battlefield like a dark god, he radiates an aura of absolute authority, seeking to leave nothing but silence in his wake. The ground trembles as a massive foot descends, threatening to pulverize the small figure below in a desperate struggle against a literal titan. From the burning sky, a winged messenger surveys the grim reality. The massive fortress of stone and malice is far too large to be broken by strength alone. The man in the straw hat narrows his eyes, pinpointing the central pillar, the core that controls this mechanical nightmare. There's no time for hesitation. The trio dives headfirst back into the city's depths, bracing themselves for the mutated horrors that have infested every corridor. With the weight of the world on his shoulders, the protagonist takes charge. He stays behind to slow the Titan's advance, acting as a shield while the others find the pillar. A massive fortress looms, a mountain of sentient brick and mortar. Its hollow eyes stare down with ancient hunger as it prepares to crush the resistance. Deep within the fungal shadows, a lone warrior realizes the clock has run out. He refuses to let this be the end of their story. A flicker of grim satisfaction crosses his face. He sees the change in his comrades. They are no longer victims, but the ones who will break this world. Realization hits him like a physical blow. The path ahead is paved with sacrifice, and the person he used to be is gone forever, forged into something far more dangerous. The Colossus lets out a bone-chilling shriek, a sound of grinding stone and pure hatred. The final phase of the battle has begun. Ah Go's eye patch gleams as he barks a command to Ne Zha, his voice cutting through the chaos. He knows time is a luxury they no longer possess. With veins bulging, he defies the laws of nature, single-handedly halting the crushing weight of a mountain. It is a display of raw, human power that borders on the divine. But even for a man of his caliber, the strain is immense. Sweat pours down his face as he admits, through gritted teeth, that this is becoming far too tiresome. He reflects on his divine power. It has carried him through many obstacles, but it isn't omnipotent. To reach Tian, he'll have to push past every limit he's ever known. Deep within the armored city, a lone mechanical scout gazes up at the central pillar, a grotesque fusion of stone and organic matter that pulses with an eerie life. Elsewhere, Ne Zha stands amidst a swirling vortex of golden energy, his expression unreadable as ancient mechanisms begin to shift around him. A deafening crack echoes through the chamber. The structural integrity of the pillar is failing, the fleshy sinews snapping under the impossible pressure. Ah Go remains the only thing standing between them and total annihilation, his body acting as the final support for the collapsing ceiling. Blinding flash of light erupts as the forces of destruction and survival collide, threatening to vaporize everything in the vicinity. The Colossus reacts with a piercing hiss, its massive form trembling as the very foundation of its city begins to crumble. Ah Go's eyes burn with a cold, murderous intent. He roars a challenge to the heavens, declaring that when it comes to raw, brute force, he reigns supreme. Meanwhile, Ne Zha finds himself drifting in a void of nothingness. A mysterious voice calls out to him, pulling him back from the brink of the abyss. Shock surges through him as the golden aura intensifies, signaling a sudden, violent awakening that will change the course of the battle. The man in the straw hat watches with a knowing smirk as the legendary power begins to manifest, wondering if he is witnessing the birth of a myth. Transformation is complete. With eyes burning like twin suns, the power awakens, unleashing a raw, primal energy that shakes the very foundations of the battlefield. Stunned by the sheer scale of the awakening, the eye-patched warrior looks up in disbelief as a massive structure looms over them, casting a shadow that swallows the horizon. Gritting his teeth, he tries to make sense of the chaos, questioning the true intentions of the one who has just seized control of such overwhelming power. Amidst the wreckage, tears of relief stream down the faces of those who were certain of their demise, realizing that they have been saved. The oppressive weight of fear has vanished, replaced by an eerie calm. A mysterious chuckle ripples through the air as the true nature of the situation begins to settle in. A sinister grin spreads across the face of the green-haired warrior. He has taken command of the massive structure, and for him, this massive weapon is nothing more than a new toy. A group of warriors gathers to discuss the shifting tides and the secret history of the power that was passed down long ago to save their kingdom. But the victory is hollow. The straw-hatted man delivers the grim news. The battle isn't over, as the monster has successfully kidnapped the woman, dragging her into the darkness. As the dust settles, the warriors realize that their companion won't be returning anytime soon. With the gateway between worlds fluctuating, they are left stranded and hungry for justice. 5 long years pass in the blink of an eye. The gem on his brow glows with a cold light as he prepares for the inevitable, an all-out war that will decide the fate of both worlds. The strategist settles the plan with a grim finality. Ne Zha will seize control of the giant to distract Longjio, while the rest of the team moves in for the primary objective, the rescue of Shi Ji. The battlefield is a chaotic swirl of energy and debris. Ne Zha focuses his resolve, knowing that the source of the nothingness lies deep within the heart of the whirlpool, waiting to be breached. The heart of nothingness is not what they expected. Instead of a hellscape, they find a deceptively peaceful meadow. The strategist questions if they've taken a wrong turn, but his companion confirms. This calm is the void's most dangerous mask. A shadow of doubt crosses the strategist's face. If the environment has changed, then Shi Ji has likely undergone a transformation as well. He fears they may already be too late to save the woman they once knew. Suddenly, Shi Ji manifests before them, draped in white and surrounded by falling petals. She reaches out, her voice devoid of warmth as she claims what was once hers, signaling a chilling shift in her soul. The silence is shattered by a bone-chilling roar. The elegance of the void vanishes, replaced by a primal, predatory hunger that vibrates through the very air. Ne Zha reacts instantly, channeling his power into the massive stone construct. He activates Giant Hammer Fist, the Titan's arm cracking with immense pressure as it prepares to deliver a finishing blow. Nearby, Long Jiu is consumed. The liquid essence of the nothingness melts his flesh as he realizes the horrifying truth: he has been discarded. The void has found a more worthy vessel to inhabit. Neja pauses, sensing a new, malicious presence. A sinister grin spreads across a face hidden in the shadows, mocking the boy's small victory. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning of a nightmare. Long Jiu's final moments are filled with a manic, broken laughter. As his body dissolves into the red abyss, he welcomes the chaos that is about to be unleashed upon both worlds. A winged sentinel of gold and stone stands guard over the massive red vortex. The scale of the coming conflict is now undeniable as the portal to the nothingness fully stabilizes. Clutching a glowing seed of light, Neja prepares to dive into the unknown. His mother is on the other side of that vortex, and he will tear through the void itself to reach her. The strategist watches with a heavy heart. He explains the cruel reality. Shen Ji didn't just fall, she chose the nothingness. She has become its new agent, and her old self is gone forever. Shen Ji looks on with cold, dead eyes. She declares her new identity as the embodiment of the void. Long Jiu was merely a pawn, and now, she is the ultimate weapon that will decide the fate of existence. The woman stands amidst the writhing corruption, her voice calm yet chilling. She explains that to truly become an agent of nothingness, one cannot be forced. It requires a total, soul-deep acceptance of the void. Her gaze shifts, eyes burning with an unnatural light as veins of power pulse beneath her skin. The transformation is no longer a choice, it is her reality. The sharp gesture, she manifests her dominance, trapping her opponent in a viscous, pink binding that defies gravity and leaves him completely paralyzed. She assures those watching that her intent isn't mere slaughter, not even for the enemy leader. Instead, she seeks to make him understand the true nature of the power she now wields. Her focus turns toward the young boy, her expression unreadable as she demands total comprehension of the stakes. The world they knew is fading. The warrior remains silent, his single eye tracking every movement with a hardened veteran's caution. He knows better than to trust the words of a void agent. The young boy's rage boils over, his face contorted as he spits out accusations of cold-blooded betrayal. To him, the woman standing before them is a monster. He lashes out, declaring that the days of being a weakling are over. Fueled by secret arts and a burning desire to surpass his former mentor, he calls out the warrior with pure venom. The warrior watches the outburst with a dismissive coldness. He notes that the cub has grown up, but growth doesn't always equal wisdom. Boy charges, a scream of defiance tearing from his throat. He dares the warrior to face him, blinded by his own perceived strength. The lesson is swift and brutal. The warrior's fist connects with a bone-shattering impact, sending the boy spiraling into the dirt. Reality hits harder than any secret art. Standing over the broken youth, the warrior's aura is suffocating. He mocks the boy's failed attempt at flight, reminding him who still holds the power. Even as a companion suggests mercy, the warrior makes it clear that some lessons are only etched in blood and pain. Killing isn't the goal, but discipline is mandatory. He hauls the boy up, reminding him that he only learns when the world is beaten into him. It is a harsh love, the only kind he knows how to give. Defeated and bloodied, the boy can only whisper a desperate question. His pride is shattered along with his spirit, leaving him empty and confused. On his knees, he reveals the truth of his motivation, the secret visits from his mother under a stone guise that kept his hope alive through the years. Warrior turns away, his mind already moving toward the human world. He prefers the grit and reality of his home over this surreal landscape. Atop the giant mushrooms of the island, the warriors contemplate the uncertain future. The woman may be an agent now, but the future is never set in stone. Suddenly, the air ripples with a celestial hum as a blue light spirals down from the heavens, signaling the arrival of something unexpected. The winged spirit descends, her eyes sparkling with mischief. She announces her choice to stay by the warrior's side, whether he likes it or not. Despite his skepticism, the winged spirit's smile suggests she knows exactly what kind of trouble is coming. He has a serious problem, and she is the only solution. The man with the eye patch considers the winged spirit's cryptic words, a heavy silence punctuated only by his thoughts. Her knowing smile suggests a path forward, but one fraught with unseen dangers. His mind drifts, pulling him into a vivid dreamscape. A deep weariness settles as he murmurs, believing a long, arduous struggle has finally concluded. A soft sigh of relief escapes him, the illusion of peace momentarily embracing his weary spirit, a fleeting moment of calm before the storm. But the tranquility shatters as unsettling figures emerge within his dream, cloaked, watchful, their presence foreboding, hinting at an ancient threat. Cold, unyielding mask covers one's face, a symbol of their mysterious, perhaps hostile, intent, further deepening the dream's unsettling nature. The dream shifts to a tense discussion. A dreadlocked man asserts their hard-won freedom, questioning why old enemies would return now that they live their own lives. A bald sage, with a profound gaze, warns of a fundamental misunderstanding. He speaks of pride and honor, a force that crushes all who defy it, even those who worship it imperfectly, a force he names gods. Jolting awake, the man with the eye patch clutches his head, the vivid dream leaving him deeply unsettled, a restless premonition clinging to his thoughts. A sharp, almost painful sensation brings him fully to the present. He clarifies a crucial detail, stating that Bai Kai is a person, his wife in the human realm, emphasizing her irreplaceable importance. The white-haired spirit responds with a wry observation, implying Bai Kai's unique patience is the key. He, surprised, acknowledges her uncanny insight, questioning how she knew such a personal truth. Amidst a bizarre landscape of colossal mushrooms, he stretches with a loud yawn, then narrows his eyes, questioning if her comment was a subtle jab at his character. A new figure, serene and powerful, emerges, declaring his intent to manipulate time itself. He reveals a plan to send the man with the eye patch back 3 months into the human world, precisely to his past location. With a jarring, violent shift, he finds himself amidst a scene of utter devastation. Wooden structures splintered and scattered, the air thick with the dust of ruin, a stark contrast to the mushroom field. His eye widens in silent shock at the destruction. Suddenly, a familiar gray-skinned figure cries out in profound relief, confirming his return and expressing overwhelming gratitude. The man with the eye patch, recognizing the gray-skinned individual, shouts "Ashur," with a powerful declaration of relief at having found him amidst the chaos. A stark visual contrast emerges, the man with the eye patch's strained face, haunted by the chaos, juxtaposed against another, peacefully sleeping, seemingly oblivious to the unfolding crisis. 5 years prior, the city's inhabitants, lulled by a long peace, had focused solely on rebuilding and resource allocation. Their guard was down, yet no major disaster had struck until now. In the midst of the escalating conflict, a black-armored warrior, outnumbered and facing unexpected angelic foes, fought with desperate tenacity, pushing his limits against overwhelming power. While his physical form remains locked in a desperate struggle, those watching over him can only look on with growing dread. The ally's hand trembles as he touches the warrior's shoulder, realizing with a jolt of horror that the power of his soul has completely vanished from this plane. Suddenly, a tiny, celestial presence manifests, her voice cutting through the panic as she commands them to leave the warrior's body undisturbed. The truth is far more grim than they imagined. He hasn't just lost consciousness, his soul has descended into the depths of the underworld. She reveals herself as a guardian spirit tasked with watching over him during this perilous journey between worlds. He left a final message: give him 3 days. 3 days to navigate the underworld and finish his business among the damned. Within that darkness, the warrior's resolve is absolute. He isn't there to suffer, he is there to change the very fabric of fate. In the underworld, a monstrous, multi-armed entity looms over him, greeting the intruder with a predatory grin that reveals rows of jagged teeth. Beast mocks the audacity of a mortal soul daring to tread here, its massive eye fixed on the warrior like a predator watching its next meal. It taunts him, claiming he has yet to master his true power, questioning how he expects to leave this abyss alive. He doesn't hesitate, launching himself at the titan with a blade in hand, thanking his teacher for the years of brutal lessons before defying him. The underworld erupts in violence as the warrior battles the very forces meant to consume him, his movements a blur of desperate, honed skill. Every strike is fueled by a singular purpose, a fire that even the cold winds of the abyss cannot extinguish. The demon pauses, intrigued by the sheer willpower radiating from this human, demanding to know who could possibly drive him this far. The answer is simple, yet heavy with the weight of his entire world: his wife. The monster laughs, explaining that once a soul enters the dark river of the abyss, everything ends. But the warrior knows the river better than anyone. He has spent years fishing for hope in those dark waters, and he will see her again, no matter the cost to his own existence. Back in the waking world, the miracle occurs. The woman opens her eyes, a weary yawn breaking the silence of the room. The warrior is there, his soul returned, gently urging her to stay down. Her recovery is far from complete. He presents a simple bowl of soup, a humble offering from a man who just fought through the literal pits of the underworld to bring her back. But the peace is fleeting. He stands tall, the weight of the coming war already settling back onto his shoulders. As she clings to him, a brief moment of warmth in a world of ice, the reality of their situation remains unchanged. The higher powers watch from above, smiling at the struggle of mortals they intend to crush like insects. But the warrior's eyes burn with a cold, murderous intent. When the time comes to collect the debt they owe him, there won't be any mercy. Standing atop the dwindling supplies of the Dark One's city, the warrior gazes down at his people. He asks a single, haunting question: are they hungry? He knows the desperation clawing at their stomachs all too well. His voice thunders across the square, reminding them that they are not savages. The gods might want to see them tear each other apart for a handful of grain, but he refuses to give those divine spectators the satisfaction. Despite his bold words, a heavy silence follows. The weight of leadership is a burden that leaves no room for hesitation, yet his stoic expression hides a storm of brewing conflict. Companion approaches, noting the visible tension in his posture. The warrior admits that since his return, a shadow has followed him, every step plagued by misfortune and annoyance. The straw-hatted man isn't convinced by the simple explanation. He walks through the desolate camp, sensing that the trouble weighing on the leader's mind goes far deeper than mere bad luck. He confronts the warrior directly, calling out the deception. It isn't a matter of if he is lying, but how massive the lie actually is. Warrior snaps, grabbing the man's collar. He reveals the brutal truth: the Dark Ones are born killers. If they knew the food was gone, they would form factions and slaughter one another until only the strongest remained to starve alone. This is his responsibility and he refuses to lose. In this world, you can't win big unless you're willing to go all in, even if the stakes are the lives of every citizen in the city. The companion relents, promising to keep a secret. He warns the warrior that he's been acting strange ever since his return from the realm of hell, urging him to take it easy before he breaks. Warrior brushes it off with a hollow laugh, claiming he's just overthinking. But as he turns away, he whispers a warning. Yongheng Jie is far more capable and dangerous than anyone realizes. He makes a silent vow. He needs just 1 year. 1 year to settle the scores and finish what he started, and after that he'll accept whatever fate has in store for him. Standing before the ancient stone tablets, the gravity of his choice becomes clear. He knows the price of his ambition, and he knows he will be a dead man before the year is out. He won't go quietly into the night. Before his time is up, he intends to settle the debt with the gods once and for all, ending their era of manipulation. Holding his torch high against the encroaching darkness, he declares that everything he has built cannot be allowed to die with him. His legacy must survive the coming storm. Meanwhile, in a secluded garden, Ji Qiao stands with his uncle. The atmosphere is thick with political intrigue as they prepare for a move that will reshape the power balance of the realms. Ji Qiao questions how any decision could be made without his uncle's presence. His loyalty seems absolute, but his eyes betray a sharp, calculating intellect. The gathering of brothers is a rare sight, and the uncle laughs at the spectacle. He demands to know the final plan, sensing that the time for talk has finally ended. The elder warns that no matter the path, they must walk it to the bitter end. Betting on the wrong horse now would be catastrophic. It would mean the end for all of them. With his uncle's unwavering support, Ji Qiao's doubts vanish. His gaze hardens, fueled by a newfound resolve to see their vision through to the end. He points toward the horizon, toward the Dark One's city. The order is given, send every soldier they can spare. The final confrontation is no longer a possibility, it is an inevitability. The promise of a reunion hangs heavy in the air, a vow that the traveler and his pursuers will soon cross paths under the shadow of war. Amidst the smoldering remains of a fallen city, a lone figure rides a massive beast, his silent presence a stark contrast to the surrounding devastation. A cold voice cuts through the silence, warning that such defiance only serves to alienate him further from his divine kin. A formidable figure stands tall, his gaze unwavering as he offers a final ultimatum: surrender peacefully or face the consequences of resistance. Monk questions the morality of their actions, demanding to know what political end justifies the destruction of an entire town. Surveying the ruins, the monk's voice trembles with a mix of sorrow and rage, asking how their kind could have fallen so low in his absence. He reminds his opponent that they once ruled through wisdom and guidance, not through the savage acts of cruelty they now commit. If duty demands the abandonment of kindness, then that duty is a shackle that must be broken. The opponent's expression hardens. If logic cannot sway the monk, then only force remains to settle the dispute. The siege is set. High above the wreckage, a figure looms, signaling the start of a confrontation that will reshape the heavens. Acknowledging the monk as the strongest among them, the warrior descends, lightning crackling around his form as he prepares to test his limits. A massive shockwave erupts as the warrior slams into the earth, the sheer pressure threatening to crush everything in its wake. Another figure joins the fray with a mocking laugh, relishing the sight of their former peer rendered helpless. They knew the monk would never ignore the destruction of this town. His compassion was always his greatest weakness, and their perfect bait. Elsewhere, far from the battlefield, a boisterous shout breaks the tension as a warrior announces his impending marriage to the world. He insists that while extravagance isn't necessary, the people must know of this union, his eyes gleaming with pride. With a roar of joy, he commands his followers to celebrate, setting the date for tomorrow night amidst a sea of raised banners. Pointing directly at his guests, he issues a playful yet firm warning: miss this celebration, and you'll have a very angry warrior to deal with. The weight of the coming war hangs heavy as Ah Go enters the quiet infirmary. He finds Mo Biaoqing, the iron-masked warrior, broken and battered on a simple mat, and asks the only question that matters: how are his injuries holding up? Mo Biaoqing stirs, his voice a raspy echo beneath his metal helm as he acknowledges his leader. For him, the physical pain is secondary to the shame of his current state. With a bitter chuckle, Mo laments his weakness, warning Ah Go that the horned gods they face now are a different breed of monster. His soul gear, once his pride, was rendered utterly useless against their overwhelming power. Outside, the atmosphere shifts from somber reflection to vile mockery. A pale, skeletal messenger of the gods stands atop the cliffs, a vulture perched beside him, taunting the warriors to drink to their own impending deaths. His face contorts into a hideous grin, his eyes wide with fanatical glee. He screams that the gods have lost their patience and their army will soon descend to wipe every trace of humanity from the earth. Pointing a bony finger at the city, he demands the ultimate humiliation: for the humans to crawl out on their knees and wait for the gods' arrival like cattle at a slaughterhouse. Ah Go listens to the rant with a cold, simmering fury. His single eye burns with murderous intent as he looks the messenger dead in the face, suggesting that perhaps killing him right now is the only reasonable response. The messenger's bravado instantly evaporates. He stammers, pleading for reasonableness and claiming his insults were merely for their own good, but the sweat on his brow betrays his terror. Ah Go doesn't waste another breath on words. He swings his massive weapon with a dismissive roar, telling the divine lapdog to get lost or die where he stands. The impact is absolute. A surge of power erupts, tearing through the air as the negotiation ends in a literal explosion of defiance. Standing amidst the swirling embers and the scent of ozone, Ah Go lets out a dark laugh. The message has been sent. The humans are no longer afraid of their creators. High above the mortal realm, the sage kings of the gods' domain watch the scene through a shimmering projection. They are baffled and insulted that a mere human is leading the Dark Ones in open rebellion. Sage King Bai Lian, his face marked by the scars of a previous encounter with Ah Go, seethes with a 5-year-old hatred. He vows that the human won't live to see another sunrise. Beside him, Sage King Ziri, the strongest of the young generation, grinds his teeth. For the dignity of the gods, he is prepared to unleash a power that has been growing at a frightening speed. The air in the divine hall grows tense. While some are eager for blood, others warn that Ah Go is a variable that cannot be underestimated, a man who has already defied the natural order. The High Elder, Shen Yan, speaks with a voice like grinding stone. He knows that Ah Go is the linchpin. If they break him, the entire human resistance will crumble like a tower of sand. The conversation takes a chilling turn as they discuss Ah Go's origins. He isn't just a human, he carries the blood of the gods themselves, a half-breed anomaly that the divine cannot tolerate. Xian Yukue, her eyes cold and calculating, declares the era of God's dominance over the central plane to be inevitable. She has waited years for this moment of total reclamation. She turns her attention to the young Wei Shan, gently manipulating the child's mind. She frames their conquest as an act of righteousness, promising to keep him safe from the savages he once knew. Her gaze softens with a deceptive warmth as she mentions the child's mother, promising that in the new dawn of the era of gods, they will all live happily together. The mask slips for a moment as the name of the traitor, Kong Ke, is mentioned. Even in the face of divinity, treason is a stain that cannot be easily washed away. As the young boy looks up with wide, hopeful eyes, the gods prepare their final move. They speak of mercy and pardons, but their hands grip their weapons tight, ready to drench the world in blood. The ground trembles as a sound more ancient than time itself tears through the silence, a dragon's roar. Trapped within these frozen walls, she realizes that the hope she felt moments ago is being eclipsed by a much darker reality. Escape is a cruel joke in this place. This abyss is deeper than the world's end, and the exit is a distant speck of light, mocking those bound in iron. Even without these heavy chains, the climb to the top is an impossible feat. Silence is shattered by a primal scream of defiance. Straining against his bindings, the white-haired warrior unleashes a roar that rivals the dragon's own, his muscles bulging as he tests the limits of his divine cage. While the depths scream, the heavens descend. Winged heralds of the gods swarm the sky, their very presence turning the world upside down. The vibration of their wings is a rhythmic pulse of impending doom that shakes the very firmament. In the shadows, the truth is finally bared. The king watches as the supposed loyal servants reveal their true colors. Their march wasn't a sign of peace, but a calculated betrayal, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The slaughter begins with a chilling laugh. A celestial executioner dives from the clouds, leaving a trail of fire and blood in its wake as it tears through the resistance with terrifying speed and precision. Amidst the chaos, the young man can't help but grin, mistakenly thinking reinforcements have arrived. But the battlefield is no place for delusions. The soldiers make it clear they aren't here to save him. If he wants to live, he needs to stop talking and start fighting. He doesn't just fight, he relishes the carnage. With a chilling grin and eyes burning like embers, he warns that his luck has just turned. To him, this isn't a desperate struggle, it's the opening act of the most disastrous day in the history of the gods. Observing from beneath his straw hat, the warrior notes the arrival of these longhorn deities. Their power is an anomaly, a force that doesn't fit into any known realm of divine energy. They are relics of a forgotten age, yet the Dark Ones are finally pushing back. The air screams as he ignites that silver flame kill. Before the enemy can even gasp, he thrusts his palm forward, activating the aura of origin. A colossal pillar of golden light erupts, vaporizing everything in its path with absolute authority. Even the divine are forced to take notice. A winged goddess stares down, her expression shifting from arrogance to cold realization. She admits the truth. Some of these rebels possess a level of power that can no longer be ignored. Command echoes across the front lines. With veins bulging and teeth bared, the commander bellows for his warriors to charge. The time for observation is over. Now, there is only the hunt. On the ridge, the archers draw back their bows in perfect unison. They cannot allow the divine host to reach the mountains where their people hide. A volley of arrows whistles through the air, darkening the sky with the promise of death. Suddenly, the earth trembles as a massive soul gear is deployed. A heavy cannon unleashes a blinding beam of concentrated energy, punching a hole through the heavens themselves. This isn't just a weapon, it's a declaration of war. Disbelief sweeps through the divine ranks. They recognize the signature of Elder Shen Yan. The accuracy is terrifying. He's sniping them all the way from the Dark One city, across a distance that should be impossible to bridge. Amidst the brewing storm, Lan stands in a moment of eerie tranquility. Surrounded by vibrant butterflies, her gaze is heavy with a secret sorrow. She is the calm before the coming slaughter, a beauty destined to witness the end of an era. The battle turns savage as a winged god is intercepted midair. The impact is catastrophic, shattering the very stone of the nearby buildings. The invincibility of the divine is being torn apart piece by bloody piece. A human warrior leaps high into the air, his blade catching the light. With a roar of "die," he descends like a falling star to deliver the finishing blow to a fallen deity. The hierarchy of the world is being rewritten in the dirt. To understand this hatred, one must look back 100,000 years. An age when the gods ruled the world with an iron fist, their numbers vast and their authority absolute. They were the masters of all creation, or so they believed. But even the heavens can bleed. A brutal civil war tore the divine apart, led by the legendary warrior He Long. He didn't just fight, he slaughtered his own kin, single-handedly ending the age of the ancient gods and leaving only ruins behind. 5 years have passed since that divine slaughter, and the gears of fate are finally beginning to turn once more. Amidst the frozen silence of a crystalline wasteland, a solitary figure in white robes treads forward, each step echoing against the ice as the long-awaited hour approaches. The sudden surge of power, the frozen seal shatters. Shards of ancient ice erupt into the air, signaling the end of a long slumber and the beginning of a new era of bloodshed. The warriors of the heavens awaken, their eyes wide with a primal hunger. One of them gasps, the metallic scent of fresh blood already filling the air, a scent they haven't tasted in centuries. From the clouds, the winged vanguard descends. With a heavy impact, they land upon the jagged earth, their divine presence crushing the very ground beneath their feet as they prepare for the hunt. The opposition is far from broken. Even as blood sprays and the air turns cold with the threat of death, the resolve of the warriors remains unshaken, their faces contorted in a mask of pure, unadulterated fury. A warrior of the Dark Ones bellows a defiant cry that shakes the heavens. He screams that his kind will never be extinguished, their survival etched into the very fabric of their souls. The battlefield falls silent as a shadow looms over the masses. The most powerful warrior of the gods has arrived, looking down upon the mortals and Dark Ones alike as if they were mere insects waiting to be crushed. He doesn't waste words. Channeling his immense authority, he activates a divine skill. Lightning crackles along his arm, a terrifying display of celestial energy that promises absolute destruction. With a cold, piercing gaze, he challenges his opponent to match his speed. He stands motionless, daring the enemy to strike, confident that no mortal or Dark One could ever hope to touch him. In the blink of an eye, the god claims victory. He dismisses the Dark One's warrior with a wave of his hand, claiming this battle was never about blood but simply about clearing the path for what is to come. He unleashes Storm, a massive vortex of wind and energy that sweeps the battlefield clean. The sheer pressure of the technique tears through the air, leaving nothing but devastation in its wake. High above the chaos, the true architects of this world look on. They speak of the 4 legendary dragons, He Long, Bai Long, Qi Long, and Huang Long, the pillars of power that allowed Pan Gu to rule the world. The plan is set. By using a forbidden mantra, they intend to awaken the transcendent vigor of the slumbering ancient dragon. Once that power is unleashed, the fate of the Dark Ones will be sealed forever.